1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we go there. Intro. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Honor and Blood with myself, Joey C, and my co-host and partner, Mikey B, Mike Bichetti. Everybody knows it well. Mike for a long time. Mike, how are you this morning? But this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. I confuse my days, hours, minutes a
Yeah,
lot.
got a lot of sun. You see, I got a lot of sun at the ball game.
I'm good. Actually, Joe, I'm pretty excited. St. Patrick's Day is Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
That's also the 29th anniversary of I got sober.
that's right. That's a big celebration. That's a big. Hear that, buddy? People, 29 years on Tuesday for Mike being sober. And you know what? Also was the 17th besides St. Patrick's Day and you being sober? My oldest son's birthday.
Your son's birthday?
My oldest son's birthday. Yeah.
Oh, how old is he going to be?
He'll be 40 years old.
God bless him. I was 40, 25 years ago.
Yeah. So that's a good. It's a good day. It's St. Patrick's Day. Mike's 29th year of sobriety,
Wow.
And my oldest son's birthday. That's a good.
That's awesome because Joe, it's weird how I started drinking because a couple of times. Here's what happened. First time I ever touched anything. I was my 14th birthday. My parents just got separated. I was hanging out with my dad and his friend that he worked with, right? He gave me a beer, my dad's friend, and he goes, welcome to manhood. I was only 14 years old, right? So I was kind of pressured to drink it.
Right.
I drank it, and I kind of liked it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the second time, this is even funnier. It was that summer, when I was still 14. My grandmother's brother, who was a World War II vet, he was in Nazi Germany, a really great man. He came over to visit my grandmother. His name was John, right? He put over a couple of six-packs. Now, she would drink with him, right? So she's in the kitchen. He's handing me a beer, and she goes, John, he's only 14 years old. So listen what my uncle did. He goes, Alice, that was her name, right? Me and my baby brother were only a couple of years older than him, and we were fighting Nazis in Nazi Germany.
That's right.
Right. So you know what happened after that? Best beer I ever had. She let me drink after that with him, right? I drank them a little bit that day.
So how many years did you actually drink before you got sober? How many years did you drink?
From 1975 to 1997, 22 years.
22 years. You did you hit it? Did it gradually go up, or did you just go balls?
Oh, it gradually went up because, and then finally clinched the drinking was Halloween night. I told you about 1975. I was hanging out with some friends.
Yeah.
A friend of mine introduced me to some of his friends. They gave me a quart of Budweiser, and it was kind of warm. I didn't like it that time because it was warm. I drank it. And then I gradually, but what really pushed me over the edges. Now, I don't blame other people for stuff, but sometimes my friend Nick, who I met, God rest his soul, was a Marine. I met him when I was like 19. We worked together in a gas station. The Marines can drink, believe me, Joe. Those guys are notorious.
My dad was a Marine. That's what he was. He was a Marine.
So, but Joe, I had some pretty wild times drinking because this is like in 1981 or so. It was my friend Nick, a couple of other friends, and thank goodness we had a designated driver.
Wow.
Right? We drove, Joe, from New York. We all had hammocks except the designated driver. The Delaware for pancakes at IHOP. How crazy is that, right? So Nick goes, I want some pancakes, right? Screaming, right? And when we lived, pancakes were okay to dine in, but we drove to IHOP. I'm pounding on the table, drunk on my ass, going, "Where's my I'm having pancakes." This is right. Thank God we didn't get arrested in Delaware. They would have pounded your head in through the key away because.
That's wild, Mike.
But
When did you feel? When did that moment come in your life when you felt it was time to stop? When you knew it was time?
oh, really bad experience. Okay, I went from that drinking all the time. Then I started hanging out with these people that were kind of dangerous. That I thought were my friends.
Right.
I was hanging out with them all the time, drinking every night with them, right? And they drank. But
Right.
Joe, they also based cocaine in their mom's
Oh,
basement besides
yeah.
drinking, right?
Ooh, yeah.
And
Dangerous.
they had all kinds of drug addicts and dealers and characters hanging with them, right? Well,
Yeah.
what stopped it was, Joe, back in 1992, right, like around February or so, I almost died of an overdose of alcohol poisoning. Because here's what
Oh,
happened, right? We were drinking, and I drank a vat like this big of Jack
right.
Daniels within like
Ooh.
half an hour or so or less,
Ooh.
right? Joe, I was laying in bed over to the house, thrown up, puking. I kept
Oh.
thinking I'm going to choke to death like Jimi Hendrix did, and horrible
Oh.
shit was going through my brain. I kept praying and praying to be okay.
Yeah.
So listen to this, right? I stopped, but just for a week. It didn't teach me. But the thing is, but after that one experience, I cut back a lot of my drinking.
Right.
Right.
And just
Then,
gradually wind up quitting altogether.
yeah, then I came to a conclusion around in March of 1997. And the crazy thing is, the last time I drank was St. Patrick's Day on purpose, but I drank with a good friend of mine who I knew since childhood, who died recently, like 3 years ago. And so that's a good, an experience. That's a special day too, because
Sure.
we drank like 2 6 packs of like high-end German beer, like
Yeah.
imports.
Sure.
Real habit, right? And
Well, at least you drank good beer. I mean, that the porter beers are a lot better, you know.
oh, but you know what, Joe? I should have just been beer.
Yeah.
I got really crazy when I drank booze, like and anything.
Did you more of a beer drinker or more of a hot the mixed drinks or?
It depends who I was hanging out with, really.
Yeah.
Like some of my friends would just beer drinkers. Other people would booze. My friend Nick that I told you about was strictly like bourbon, like Jack Daniels or Old
Yeah.
Granddad, things like that. I drank that with him.
Did you get violent at all when you drank?
Oh, I got in punches fights with friends and family.
Mm.
How horrible is that, Joe? I never got in a real bar fight because I was afraid I'd be killed by people, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
But I did get in drunken fights
yeah.
with friends and family members only. How crazy!
Well, they
is
say
that?
alcohol. They say two things about alcohol. It'll bring out the really tough guy in most people because you just don't care. You're brave as hell. But it also makes a very truthful person because a person
Definitely.
drunk will tell the truth. He will never be sitting there telling you a lie.
No,
He
I was
will really
Mr.
tell you what he
Hyde.
thinks.
I was Mr. Hyde came out. But the thing is, Joe, I drank, blacked out. I don't know how many times, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
And the thing is, but you know what's really bad? Okay, some people would hang out, just have a couple of drinks, get drunk.
Sure.
I got drunk. I went there to be the drunkest guy at the whole place. That was my goal, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're young. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to be 65 soon. Even if I was drinking to this day,
Yeah.
I would not be able to handle a hangover because
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what.
I had them in my 20s, Joe,
Yeah.
and I had really bad 2-day hangovers.
Well, Budweiser alone gives you a hangover. That beer used. I wasn't a big drinker, but when I did drink, I drank Budweiser, it gave me a hangover the next day bad.
Oh, definitely, because for some reason I don't know why Bud just like corrupted. But the thing is, I said all kinds of inappropriate stuff to people.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I did or said, and it's like, especially if they're blacked out, I'm like, know,
and you do. People don't. A lot of people don't realize. No matter what you're doing, if you're altering your personality with any chemical or any alcohol, you are going to get a different personality. You are going to be different, and a lot of people don't think that. Like a lot of people say, "Thank you, dear." A lot of people say, "I don't change. I'm the same guy whether I drink or." But they don't realize you are. You know, the greatest thing for me is going around someone when I stopped drinking and being around people that were drunk. And then just filming them and showing them what they really are. When
forget it.
A lot of them don't believe it. They don't believe you when you tell them how they act.
It's horrible because, like, I had a good friend like that years ago, right? Joe, one of the nicest people who ever lived on the planet.
Yeah.
Who was a rude, nasty, rowdy drunk when he got drunk, right?
Yeah.
And I'll put it this way: this is how he would be when he was sober. Hey, Mike, how are you? How's everything going, buddy? Right?
Yeah.
One night we drinking. He goes, shut the fuck up before I throw you out and run you over. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa.
and you know what? And with alcoholics, they, you know, everybody abuses themselves because of some pain they have. That's the
Oh,
problem.
definitely.
It's definitely because of pain or trying to fit into society. You know, some people like you if you weren't popular in school, but you wanted to hang with the cool kids and you saw the drink, you would got people under peer pressure. They could start drinking. They think it's
Of
cool,
course.
and we're so not fully developed in our minds to do anything thinking process to do anything correctly. But then people don't realize too when it gets out of control. Yes, it's the person's fault. Most people take accountability, but it becomes a disease. It does
It is
become
a
a
disease
disease.
because you know why it's funny you said that because okay, my dad's family, I don't know much about them. Right? I don't know if they were drinkers,
Yeah.
but his sister, God rest his soul, was a major heroin addict that
Yeah.
died when I was like 12 years
I lost
old.
a lot of friends that were heroin addicts, the worst thing in the world. People. Here's the thing: when you, especially when you're on the internet, when people, a lot of people they don't like to talk about their personal life. They don't let people know too much. I was the opposite. I put all my cards on the table and I told my whole life story, which was good for me, but it was also bad because it gave opened the door for people to attack me and
Of
come at me,
course, I
which I accept that. What they
no
don't
because
understand is how do they make opinions if they never touched a drug, if they never touched alcohol, and they don't have no clue what it does to people. They don't have no clue what that person, how it alters your mind or
it's
what you're
horrible
capable.
because
And that's what upsets me because you don't. And here's the thing: when you do get done with it, just because you were a fall down drunk or a mean drunk or a bad addict doesn't mean you're not a good person.
no,
And people think that you go to jail, you're a scumbag, you're a drug addict. They don't have no clue what they talk about when they know nothing about it.
well
And that's why I hate the internet, Mike. This is why I really hate the internet.
it's horrible, Joe, because with my dad's sister, it was a horrible memory because I was only 12 when it happened, right?
Yeah,
And this is the early 70s. And the sad thing is, I had bronchitis for the first time then, right?
yeah,
So I had to go to the cemetery with my parents.
right.
And Joe, in those days, they showed people being lowered into the ground. You know what I
Yeah,
mean, right? In
yeah,
those days.
yeah,
And Joe, it's a memory I've never forgot. It was
yeah.
horrible shit that
It's
happened because
exactly right. And Mike, I'm sure you've had some devastating Travis in your life, tragic life. Something happened bad in your life. I've had many tragedies that I cannot get out of my mind, and I think about it all the time. But you know what? I also know people that have a lot of pain in their life, and people that fight through brick walls and to get themselves to a good place. you know, it's okay. The mistakes, as long as you're accountable for your mistakes and you know what you did wrong, and if you think that you stay the same person at 20 from 30 to 40, I would never want to be that person I was at 20.
no,
I'm not that person I am. But people
no,
think that. They think, oh, you're what's a scumbag. But what the kicker is for me is the people that attack you the most, they're really they're really done worse than you could when you find
of
out that.
course.
And that's what really chaps my ass. And here's the thing. Listen, comes down to brass tacks. Be a man. I don't care. I don't care what your content. Don't use the keyboard to be a keyboard
No,
warrior.
a lot of
Don't
fake
show
keyboard
if
tough
you got
guys
that much
because
hate for somebody, come to that person and be a man.
Mike Tyson said that. You know what he said? Everybody's a tough guy until somebody gets punched in the face. That's what he
Exactly.
said.
You know what? You know what? And listen, if someone could beat me up, if someone's going to beat me down, I'll accept that. But if I'm putting it out there, don't be this tough guy with this keyboard. You want a problem with me? You really hate me? Come to my. And if you beat me up, I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get mad. If you do beat me up, you know what I'm going to say? Hey, at least you came and you stood up as a man, and you were the better man. But that's what life's about. Don't sit there and be a tough guy or make accusations and call this because you know what? You only can push any human being to a certain point.
I know.
And the breaking point on most human beings, we could take a lot. But I tell you what, I am at my breaking point, Mike, with a lot of people in this internet, and they
Oh,
just
it's
don't know because
horrible.
when you make a man go crazy, when someone goes crazy up here, he can't be responsible for his actions no more. You understand? And
No,
that's where I'm at. I'm fighting. I thought I got rid of all the demons, and you know what I got? I got a whole fan base of demons.
Well,
Demons is what I have. Demons.
I understand it totally because, like, when I was on the Artie Lang show, right? You know what they did to me? This is totally horrible. They would have people that worked in the studio in L.A. calling his fake callers to get me all riled up and heckle me, right? And get my blood boiled, right?
Ugh.
Some guy threatened he was going to come to my house and beat my family up. So you know what I did? I said, I will crucify you on my front lawn, you douchebag. Am I right or wrong,
I
right?
wish they would. I wish they would carry out what they want to do because I tell you what, they want to call me all the names. They want to think that I won't. Let me tell you something. If they step to my and then they're like, your wife fights you back. Do you know why my wife goes in front of me? Because she knows my capabilities. She don't want to lose her husband. Because if I go out there, she might just slap him. I'm not going to just slap somebody. I'm not just
Oh,
going to
no.
beat their ass. I'm going to kill somebody, and that's a fact. If they come to me, I'm going to kill them. She don't want to lose me because she knows I'll do it. And they think that they think with these little jokes and these little clown. And you know what? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. They have pushed me to a limit that they need to back off because I'm tell you what, when I snap and I'm there, I'm just about there. And the last time I snapped, it was very ugly for a lot of people. You know.
But the thing is, you know what? They're not working heated up over though in the
But
long
see,
run.
Mike, the problem is I agree with you 110%. I don't want to have no ounce of hate in me ever. I want to be a kind, helpful person, and the people that are good to me, I want to be good back to them. Even the people that are not good, I try to be friend. But when they push any human being to that limit, they're just making the mistake of their life because you know what? At that point, I don't care if I go to prison the rest of my life. I don't because it just they push. You want to know why they do it too, Mike? Because they think they're invincible. They think you can't touch them, especially the ones that are over in other countries.
Of
They think
course,
they think they're untouchable.
Joe, the sad thing about people that I drank with, some of them also were addicted to cocaine and other
Yes,
stuff, right? And the sad thing is, well, the smart thing about me was I was terrified of hard drugs and getting involved with it.
that's good. That's a
Yeah, I
good
was
thing.
super terrified because I seen what it did to other people, and it's like I didn't go near coke or
That's
heroin
the best decision you ever
or
made, Mike.
LSD or any of those things. Joe, the worst thing I ever did, and this is kind of stupid. I did what do you call it? Whippets,
Oh yeah, but
oxide.
they used to do that whippets after they do it. They would smoke whether it was cocaine or methamphetamine, and they put the whippets in their mouth and they I see
Yeah.
guys get crazy on that stuff,
Well,
man.
I smoked pot and did whippets, and I was like
Oh,
out of
okay,
my
I
mind.
didn't know you could do that with pot. Yeah,
Pot, I love, but one thing I gave pot up many years ago too.
yeah,
But the difference is, like when I was a drunk, I was out of control.
yeah,
When I was on pot, I was so mellowed out, or I got super paranoid. You know what I
yeah,
mean, right?
yeah. I
And
heard
it-
that
and
people get paranoid on that
and
too.
and the
Yeah.
thing is, like, what do you call it? But given the choice, I don't know because you never really. I never heard anybody getting in a fist fight when they were stoned on pot. They're too
Right.
lazy.
And here's the other thing, Mike. People are not going to like some of these people. People are not going to say, "Yeah, let's go in a boxing ring fight." First of all, if you're going to piss someone off when you're out in public, I promise you, they're going to sucker punch you before you even get off the
Of
bar stool.
course,
They're going to clock you with a glass. They're going to hit you with a bottle. Nobody fights fair. If you're challenging someone that knows how to fight, they're not going to go out there and let you even get square up on them. They're going to bust your head open right
they
there,
didn't even pull out a gun or
and
a
that's
knife
it.
today.
And that's the problem. People don't. People think they know people. You should
No, because
never
they made
push
me pull out a
anybody.
gun or a knife today. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, today it is. Today, even in road rage, you used to get in a pretty good argument, maybe pull over, you swap punches. Today, everybody pulls a gun. Everybody's got a gun in the car, and they use it. They shoot. They don't even ask questions.
They're not afraid to use it. That's
They're
the
not
sad
afraid to
part.
use it. And the younger kids today that they recruit into the gangs on the streets, they get these kids at 9 years old now to go out and they give them a pocket full of money and say, "Look, kid, look what you make in one day just sitting on this corner and selling rocks." And the kid you get a 9-year-old, 10-year-old kid who's got $500 made in a couple hours. What you think he's gonna ever go work a regular real job in his life?
No,
Never. Forget
not
he's
only that,
done.
because I guarantee they got young kids shooting people too for them.
They use them. First of all, those 10, 11-year-old kids, when I was in my neighborhood, they would use 10-year-old, 11-year-old kids and tell them, "We're going to put all this money in your pocket a bit, but you got to do something for us. We need you to go kill those guys over there." And they did it because you know what? They got no fear. They don't understand fear. They don't understand consequences.
And if they're caught, they'd go to like juvenile hall
And they would go to
prison.
now.
Right?
Now today's a little different. Today they will try him as an adult. but 30 years ago they didn't. They went to juvenile for 3 years and they got out sky-free with murdering somebody.
Now they could try them as an adult, right?
Now they could try him as an adult.
Well,
now a lot of states are cracking down.
How crazy is that? A 12-year-old kid going to like prison.
What they can't do is they can't put him in the adult prison until he's 18, but they can put him. Some prisons got a section for the guys under 18, or they'll go to a regular juvenile. They cannot. That's the only. They can try him as adult, but they can't put him in the mainstream with the adults yet until they're 18.
Until they're 18, then they probably transfer. The sentence transfers over, right?
Right. Yeah. But like I said, in the old days, they went to juvie. They turned 18. They didn't go to prison. They went home. It was done. And now they come out. They're 18. They murdered for their gang. Now they come out. Now they're a big leader. Now they're running shit. Now they become real hard. And then they're giving the orders, and that's their life is just.
Not only that, they come home hard, Joe, and a lot of them come home like musclehead freaks, like gigantic from working out all day.
Yeah, it's and when I've experienced so many things good, so many things bad. I've been on both sides of the tail of so many things, and you know what? And I don't. Maybe that's why I really got into comedy, and because everything. I understand the Dabbleverse and all this is mostly old comedians, guys that want to try to make people laugh, but that's fine. I enjoy a good laugh, but when you take things to a point that you think you know somebody, and I just was never a person to joke around with. I just didn't have time in my life, the lifestyle I lived, and the way that I was growing up. I didn't have time to be. There was no room for me to be joking around.
Me either, because Joe, the thing is, and there's so many people they talk about. I don't even know. And these people are dabbled. I'm not involved in it because I hear like the potato, the corn guy.
The betrayal
I hear like
unbelievable.
Some guy named that was Melendez's friend named Vince the lawyer, whoever the hell that was.
I was on a show with him yesterday. Vince the lawyer. Vince is all right. Vince is a good guy. He's the number one troll. He's one of the best troll. He messes with John a lot, and John him go back and forth. But Vince is a real lawyer in New York. He is a real lawyer, a very successful lawyer. But he loves this internet stuff. He loves this stuff. He's doing a show now with Rocco.
Like, it's crazy. Like a lot of professional people, like lawyers and doctors, like that, want to be in entertainment.
Yeah. Who else I was on? I was last night. I was on with Brennan. Matt Mead was on there.
Oh, nice. I heard of him. I never met him.
Yeah. And then who else was on? And then MKE was there. He was cussing Kevin out. Kevin goes laughing. He kept swearing at Kevin and calling him a cocksucker bitch.
Oh no!
And Kevin kept throwing him out.
Was chat on?
He was gone. He was gone. And he goes in the chat and calls faggot. And
oh God! Was chat on?
Brendan was like, I'm run because they're gonna kick me off Patreon. But he was laughing. Then he goes, I sent you the link at 8:00. I go, I was doing my show. I didn't see it. He goes, all right, you're here now. This guy Brian Landon, this other drunk idiot, wanted to tell me off. So Brendan said, "I'll bring him. I'll get Joey C on here for you." And the guy's rampaging. And I laid into him. And Brendan threw him out.
Oh, good.
Brendan threw him out.
Was Chad on there?
No, Chad wasn't there last night. No Chad. It was me, Kevin, Matt Mead, and MKE, who was Brendan for the whole time I was there, kept bouncing him in and out. It was funny.
Joe, you know what I like about doing this show with you? Neither one of us have to travel any place.
No.
You know what I mean? We don't have to put up with anybody's bullshit. Am I right or wrong?
Like last night when everybody left, it was me and Brendan for about last 5 minutes. I said, you know, he goes, what time you guys go tomorrow? I go, he goes, I'll be watching. I watch you. And I go, and I thought, you know what? He's telling the truth. Kevin does watch it.
Oh,
he's your good friend. He doesn't go in the chat room and say much, but I appreciate that because you know what? When I first came in as Dabbers, I learned who Kevin Brennan was, and I used to drive him crazy. Let me come on and be your co-host. I wanted to break in and be taught by him because I thought he was from Chicago. We got a lot in common. And then Kevin's Kevin. When he wants to go after somebody, he'll tear you up. You know. So there was that period where he was bouncing on me, but I still, then someone called me up and said, Brennan just said a lot of nice things about you the last couple of podcasts. And
oh, nice.
And then I just, I started talking with him again, and generally I've always liked Kevin Brennan, and he's at least I can say this about Kevin. He's not a phony person. He's real, and he's not afraid. If he's got something to say, he'll say it.
No,
and
definitely.
He's a straight shooter that way, and I'd rather someone be like that than to be phony. So I have a lot of respect for him in that way. And whenever he needs me, I go on. I enjoy being on there and talking with him. So
Me too. It's fun because Joe, I love the Chicago accent because
yeah,
you know who else had it too. Because I used to listen to his podcast, Frank Collada.
yeah. Frank never lost his Chicago accent.
He
He had
had
a
a heavy
strong
duty
Chicago
one,
accent.
right?
Yeah.
I loved his podcast
You
because
know that his friend, the guy that was helping him in Vegas, the kid that he became real good friends with, that was like his producer in his show, he still kept Frank's channel alive. He goes on and he still got Frank's phone on. Frank's phone is still on.
wow, you know the crazy thing about Frank is right. Him and for some reason Michael Franchese, right? Okay, nobody's a saint in this life, right? But
No, nobody is.
I liked them as people for some reason.
Because they were good people.
I,
They
I like
were.
I like Collada listening to him talk, right?
He was a good
And
guy, man.
what do you call it? And Michael listening to him talk because
Yeah.
first of all, Frank definitely had a brain as well. Am I right or wrong?
He was a smart guy. Frank Collada was a smart guy. He was a strategic guy. He was a bad. Let me tell you what, he was a tough guy. He was a pit bull.
Oh, definitely.
And him
If
and
he had-
Tony Spilotro together, that made the most dangerous dual force out there, man.
if he had to take care of people, he would have on
He
behalf.
did. He didn't
Spilotro,
hesitate.
definitely,
And he was a good
because
thief. He was one of the best burglar thieves in the business. Professional all the way.
What happened? He just died of a heart. I forgot what happened to him.
During the pandemic, I had talked to him in 19. And I made contact with him, and I wrote him an email. He said, "Call me on this number," because I was thanking him for something from years back, and I never got to thank him because all that stuff. Tony and Michael got killed. He was in a witness protection program, and I didn't lost contact with him, and I sent him an email. As soon as I sent him an email, he said, "Kid, here's my number. Call me." I was making plans to go out there in 2000 to go out there because I used to live in Vegas a couple times, and I was going to go hang out with him. And he was all excited. We were making plans, and then he's heavy emphysema real bad. He had lung problems. He smoked a lot. He was a heavy smoker. And the pandemic, he didn't make it.
Did it because do you think that with Frank Collada, do you think he knew they were going to do Spilotro in?
I don't think he did. I'll be honest with you. I don't think. First of all, he would have. People in the movie, they made it look like he was the guy that did it at the cornfield. Because in the movie,
I don't think he was even any part of it.
He was not. No. First of all, he said he would have never ever went on that job. He would have never done that job. That was his best friend. What crushed him is when he was shocked when the FBI brought him to Tony on tape saying, "We got to take Frankie out." He was shocked. And then he had no choice. He said, "At this point, I got a contract in my head with my best friend, who I would have died for and done anything for." So he went. He started talking. And Frank is a stand. He knows he became a rat, and he'll tell you, "I was a rat. I became a rat. I betrayed what I wasn't supposed to do." But you know what? At least he was honorable about it. At least he talked about it.
Absolutely.
He admitted his wrong.
I think that the kind of guy he seemed like from listening to him talk, I think he would have told Spilotro out to get him if he could.
He would have. He would have.
He definitely would have told him out to do him in.
Yeah, they were that close. I mean, the Chicago outfit guys, they didn't like to be called. They weren't called mafia guys. They were called outfit guys. They didn't like the term mafia. They were called outfit guys. They didn't even have a traditional ceremony in Chicago. They didn't do the burning of the symbolic thing in their hand and do all that. It was way different in Chicago. And and they only had one boss for many years. They didn't have 5 families and 5 bosses. They didn't have a commission, even though that there was a seat on the commission for the Chicago boss. It was there for him because they gave it to Al Capone. But Tony Accardo, he didn't tread like that. He stayed very low key. Joey Lombardo, very low key. They didn't flaunt their money. They didn't drive fancy cars.
Well, that's why they died. That's why they died.
That's why they died in bed at an old age.
Because the thing is, like when I heard when I listened to Michael's podcast, right? Yep. He said they didn't even call them the mafia. He goes, they called it Cosa Nostra.
Cosa Nostra. And people, some of the newer generation guys were making fun of Michael. Michael he's old tradition, old school. He said, "I was a Kappa regime." That was the real the terminology for being a captain in the mafia. There was Kappa regime. So Michael still sticks with that word because Michael's got class. He's educated. Man was going to be a doctor. He left school to help his father, who got a 50-year sentence. Michael was a brilliant businessman. It's like, every business he touched made money. He's that successful.
Joe, it kind of mirrors like Michael Corleone in a way. him or right or
He
wrong.
exactly like him as far as smarts.
Because as far as that goes, because Michael Corleone got into the mob because they tried to assassinate Vito.
Exactly, and his father didn't want that for him. You saw that he did not. He wanted Michael was the smart one. He was smart in school. He went in the army against his father's wishes, you know.
You know
But he wanted to help people.
what's
You know,
crazy? What do you call when Vito's in the bed? He goes, "Where's Michael?" And
it was Michael, and he
Bob
whispered, "It was
DeVal
Michael
goes,
that
"It's
yeah
Michael who killed Solange, right?"
yeah
And
they killed Alonzo."
how disgusted and
He
angry.
went. I mean, he just go away because he at that moment it drained the life out of it because he did not want Michael to be anything, but he
No,
knew that Fredo was too weak. He knew that Sonny was too hot tempered, so he had no one to take over for him. You know, so Michael
absolutely.
was the calm one. He was the one that he could strategically win wars. He knew how to bait someone into a trap. Very 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 good at what he did. And the movie, I mean, come on. If anybody can't say in the last 100 years, Francis Ford Coppola is not one of the most genius directors in the business. The man and Mario Puzo finally writing that book was brilliant, and to putting them together was so right to do that. You
Oh
know,
yeah, because Joe, with the show now,
yeah,
with all the people I talked about to let their kids in, can we do that last? I'd like to do the movies first because you put
yeah.
so much work into that.
Yeah. Okay. So we left off. Like I said, we can't do movie clips because I got banged again last week, and they demonetized. They took the one on the channel Honor and Blood, which is not monetized. They didn't touch the video, so the full version's up there if anybody wants to see it. But the ones on the monetized channel, they're not striking the channel, but they took the 1 week down completely. They took it out until I fixed it. I
Oh
even
no, what I meant was like not to just to like
I
talk
got
about.
everything rolling, everything, all the information you need to talk about them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got it.
definitely because that's what I meant to
So you
talk
want to do?
about.
We got 4 guys left. I think we left off last year. So we got
Oh, we
Sammy
have a
Gravano,
bunch.
we got John
Joe,
Gotti and Jr.
I wrote a couple new ones there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and I got the new guy. I got it. What was his name? Bertolo or something.
Oh yeah, you want me to start this? I love this show. I'm having so much
Okay,
fun
let
with you.
me go over to the here, and we're gonna do this first. And so Mike, we left off last week. Mike, we're gonna do we're gonna do the guys that these are the guys that did bring their kids into the family life.
Yeah, definitely because.
These are the guys that. So who you want to do first? I got Gotti, Bonanno,
Can we start
Gravano.
with Carlo
Who?
Gambino?
Oh, you wanted Carlo Gambino? I thought we didn't cover Carl last week.
No.
Well, okay.
Well, I wrote down stuff down about him. If that's okay.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with the Catola, and then I'm gonna go ahead and download
Oh,
Gambino.
okay.
Okay. So here I'm gonna put this up.
Okay, you
So,
know what, Joe? I got the list here, but we'll start with Cotola. He actually lived on Staten Island.
yeah. So this is him. This is everything about him. You know, you got the story. I'm gonna step out 1 minute and get and put the load the Gambino stuff. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'll be just go ahead and start there. Can you see everything good?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely talk about him because
Okay, and I'll be right back.
this guy was a very powerful guy on Staten Island. He also, from what I heard, was a super generous man with PBA, police benefits, and things like that. Leukemia. He raised a lot of money. What do you call it? For his family. I mean, for the public and stuff. But he also had got involved in the war in the mob and picked the wrong side. And unfortunately, they took him out. And his son, who was named after him, William Jr., was an associate. He was never a wise guy himself. He was an associate. And he made such a bad mistake, his son. He tried to find out who did his father in. And in those kind of circumstances, they never tell who set you up. They keep it quiet and then just move on. And he found out who did it, and he went to go after them, his son, which is no in that business. And then they came after him and his family, and then he went to the government for protection. His son wound up being in the witness protection program instead of being in the mob itself. His son's been on interviews. He talked about. I felt sorry for him because you could see how much he loved his dad in real life. I mean, they hung out together. went to game sports events, different things. He was like really close to his dad, and it just affected him so much. And I don't. He's been in interviews. He's a very interesting guy, his father and his son. And like I said, but that's the life they chose. And then the consequences when you get in. It's not like you don't know, what's going to happen. But yeah, his father died like in 1999. Wild Bill, they called him, Joe, right?
Wild Bill, yeah, that's what they called him.
He
Wild Bill,
died
yeah.
like the late 1990s, 99. They didn't find his body till like 10 to 12, 15 years later.
Hang on one second, buddy. I just got to
Okay.
adjust this. But go ahead and keep talking. I just got to adjust this real quick.
Oh, cool.
There we
and
go.
like you said, and like you said, there's good and bad in all of us.
That's right.
Like you said,
That's
for all the
true.
bad this guy did, he did a lot of good for people, for leukemia, for the PBA. I mean, for his other people, So and I don't care who it is. Everybody makes mistakes, and you know what? He knew what he was getting into when he got in, and he knew what was going to happen to him when he got
wasn't
out.
that the biggest thing that the New York guys say? When guys would start complaining, I mean, guys would go, "Listen, the life you got into. You chose. You weren't. A gun wasn't held to your head when you wanted to come into this life. You know what the rules are, and
No.
and these guys that here. Whenever someone is put to rules, and let me tell you something. I don't care if they're gangsters, if they're airline stewardess or pilots. They had strict rules in the mafia. There was rules that if you broke, you got killed. Plain and simple. If you messed with anybody's wife, anybody's daughter, you were killed instantly. There was no talking about it. It was done. It was over.
Or laying hands on another member.
And if you dealt drugs, you were killed instantly. There was no court held. They tell you the rule. If you get caught dealing, we don't hold court for that. You're dead. Simple as that. You touch somebody's wife, you're dead.
Or raising hands to another member.
Or raising hands to another. And that's I wanted to hit on that. That was the thing that really impressed me. Do you know not even a boss could raise a hand to a made member?
They'd come after him.
I don't care if he was the most powerful boss, he could not raise his hand to a made guy.
No, it's crazy, right? Because you think he'd be able to.
He couldn't. If he did that, they would move on him. The same rules applied for him as any soldier, any capital regime, any lieutenant. Same applied for the boss, the underboss, and the consigliere. They could not. That was one of their biggest rules. If they were called men of respect. Yes, yes. But people that are opinionated with criminals are no good. This and that. Listen, I'm not saying being a criminal is what you should go do. I'm not saying a criminal is the right thing to do. What I'm saying is that with the guys that were criminals in this type of line of work, these guys they did it with style. They did it with class. They didn't let no one come in their neighborhoods hurt kids. Then nobody hurt any senior citizens. The kids were protected. Doors, you could leave your doors unlocked. Nobody came in and stole in those neighborhoods. If any outsider came in those days that did any of those things, let me tell you something. Like they said, the cops better pick them up before we do. And the cops knew that.
Of course.
And a lot of the cops back in the day would say, they just saved us a bunch of paperwork and a guy that we're going to put in jail that's going to get out anyhow. So they had order. They didn't go after civilians. They did not. They went after degenerate people that were part of them. They basically killed within themselves.
They stayed away from
people
family
think they were the
members
ruthless. They didn't kill firsthand for everything. They always
right, Joe. Family members were off limits too.
Yes.
Right, because and the thing is, like, what was I going to say about? I forgot what I was going to say about him now.
We're still talking about Catola. You talking about William?
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
You were saying about he died in the 90s.
He died in the 90s. They found him like 10 or 15 years later, right?
Yeah.
He was so close to his son. Like I said, his son found out who did it. And he was an associate, not even a made guy, right?
He was just an associate at the time.
Wanted to go after them, and they found out about that.
They killed the son?
No, his son went to the FBI to be protected. They were going to come after him.
Well, I would imagine the son would be alive today, wouldn't he be?
What's that?
His son would be alive today, wouldn't he?
Still is.
So he went to witness protection, so he's got a whole new identity, right?
Oh, yeah. But the thing about this son is, right, I mean, he grew up around life. He knew what it was. And that's another cardinal rule, right?
Yeah.
They never say who set somebody up for the hit. It just happens and that's it. You're never going to find out normally. Am I right or wrong? Right?
Yeah,
Unless
you're
it gets
right.
out somehow. And not only that, he's not even a member. He's an associate. He was
That's
still
right.
technically a civilian,
That's right.
and it threatened them. That's a death sentence.
That's right. You know, Mike, we talked about it with a couple of movies. We showed some, and we're going to talk about a few comedy mob movies tonight.
Oh,
I thought were
that's
really
right.
great. They were
Say,
funny.
Joe,
A lot
we
of them, a
call
couple
it.
were funny.
People
The
don't
guys that
realize.
couldn't fire, the guys that couldn't shoot straight, that was a funny movie. That
Oh,
was
that's
fun.
cool. Because Joe, the thing is, people don't realize, and I know you know this. Some other people do, some don't. The mafia started off as an honored society in Sicily
That's right.
one reason, because okay, most of Italy had the Roman army,
Right.
to
That's right.
protect them,
Roman,
right?
yep. That's right.
Sicily was an island by itself. You
That's
know what I
right. The
mean,
boot.
right? That
Yep.
was away from people, and they got invaded by different people: the
Yeah.
French, the
Sure.
Arabs, Moors. For centuries, people invaded them. You know what I mean, right?
Yes.
So they wanted something to protect themselves, which they did. But somehow the criminal element got involved in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how, when exactly, when, whatever.
Right.
But the thing is, also, uh, Mussolini started locking them up and throwing them out of the country
Yeah.
too. But the thing about Mussolini is, he thought they were a threat to him.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you brought up Mussolini. I remember, and they put this in one of the movies about him, but I heard this in one of the autobiographies on somebody that Benny Siegel wanted to go personally and kill Mussolini.
Oh yeah, I know. There's a movie
In real
called
life,
Monsters.
he wanted to.
Yeah, he wanted
And
to
he
blow his
had
head
it
off.
in. He was sleeping with the Duchess, the guy that was the best friend to Mussolini.
He wanted to go there to kill him, and
Yeah, he was going to kill him for all the, and he was serious. And
you
when
know what
he told
happened?
Meyer
Meyer
that
Lansky
story,
told him. Lansky told him, Benny,
don't ever say that in public ever again.
this is nutty. He goes, they're going to come after you for this. He goes, this.
But he was serious. He was serious.
He was a piece of work. Am I right? He definitely.
They said that he was, you know, even though they don't give him too much credit, he is the man that had the vision for Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And he the difference with Benny was an enforcer. He didn't care about money. He gave it away like water. He just money burnt a hole in his pocket.
He wasn't a racketeer. He was a gangster.
He wasn't a racketeer. He was all muscle. He wasn't good with money. And his best friend Meyer, they were true friends since they were in short pants. And it's funny because Meyer tried to protect him. He kept him alive as long as he could.
Oh, he could. After a while, they weren't having.
But finally, when he had 5 or 6 of the Italian guys at the table saying it's too late, and he knew he couldn't talk him into it. He basically said, "Go ahead and make your vote," and he left the room. But he said, you know, one thing he made a statement later on New Year's before he died. I never questioned who killed Benny Siegel. I could have got mad and went after them, but business was business. And I never questioned it. He never did.
No,
he never got angry about it. He knew the life they were in, and he knew it could happen to him or anybody.
He knew,
and that's what I respect about Meyer Lansky. Was definitely, without Meyer Lansky, with those group of guys in that era, they don't make the money they do. They don't make the money because he was a genius when he made money.
But Meyer, like you said, was a racketeer like Luciano was.
Yes.
But Ben Siegel was a pure gangster.
Pure gangster. He liked being a flashy gangster.
Oh,
his best friends were George Raft. George Raft was a guy that played gangsters in movies. That was Benny Siegel's real friend. They went to school together. So he liked that life. He wanted to be the Hollywood life, but he was a real gangster that wanted to be also a real Hollywood guy. And the two don't go together. I'm sorry.
No, because
it does not go together.
I heard that Bugsy Siegel took a screen test. Okay?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
And the real mob was pissed at him for that.
Yeah, because he was just it's the same. Listen, nobody's disputing John Gotti was a bad guy. He was a tough guy. He could handle himself. He could beat anybody up. He was a very tough man. But he was what he was. And he was because he was proud to be a gangster. He said to many people, I'm not going to change who I am. It's them putting me on the cover of Time magazine. It's them talking about me in the newspaper. I just go to court. They follow me. I don't go look for the media. They're all over me. So I'm not going to hide who I am because I guess guys like Sammy Gravano and some of the old timers would go to him and tell him to slow it down. But I'm not hiding. And he was right. You don't think your photo's next to mine on the FBI board? You don't think they don't know who you are because you're quieter? But he was right. Why change your personality? Okay, now at the end there, is he the guy that really took him down? Some say no, some say Sammy did it. But Sammy said, listen, he left me no choice to do that. But also, they questioned Sammy for many years because Sammy didn't come from a gangster life. Sammy came from a little bit of money. His father owned businesses. They were, and his father hated gangsters.
Oh, his
He was
family
a
is
straight laced guy.
right? Because his family is civilians. They had nothing to
Yeah,
do with
exactly.
the mob.
And they couldn't understand that. So the one thing that I think Gotti always could never figure out, why does a guy who comes from money, who really didn't have a bad life, he wasn't a street guy like us where we had nothing, we were poor. He had a good family. Why did he choose this life? And he never would. At that point, Sammy had never been to prison, and
No,
a
because
lot of
well,
guys wouldn't even
I think
associate with
he
guys.
was.
If you didn't have prison time, they didn't trust you.
I think he was. You know, it is like a lot of young kids were pulled in, enticed by the money, but
Right,
seeing those guys wearing gold jewelry,
right. I agree with
Italian
that.
suits, hot women,
I agree with that. You got
Cadillacs, you know, them, and nobody ever bothered them. You know what I mean?
right. They
Since
saw the respect they got. They wore those great suits. They had Cadillacs. Women were all over, and they were just the jewelry, the pinky ring. And when the little kids in the neighborhood, like in the Bronx, and they're on, those guys back in the '60s, they were right on the street corner in their suits, out there jawing, talking, in front of the bar, in front of the restaurant. They were out publicly. You could see them all. Same way
it's
in
true, because
Chicago.
you
In
know what
Chicago,
it
in Elmwood
is.
Park, they were right outside the social club. And you
I
go
mean,
by there, and you're like, wow, look at this. It's like this is like the New York Yankees superstar all-star team.
oh, no, of course, because think about it, right? You're a kid that grows up in a tenement a couple of blocks
Exactly.
away from where these guys are, right? Struggling, your whole family's struggling, or you're growing up in a tenement, you're a couple of blocks away from them. You walk down the street, these guys got gold rings, they got,
Yeah.
you know, tailored Italian suits, Cadillacs, hot women, all
Everything
kinds
he
of stuff.
wants, everything an American dream brings. Well, that's what the Paul Castellano tried to tell his kid, because the kids would go to Paul and say, "You don't got an education, you didn't go to school, and you got all the money, you got a mansion, you got." And he goes, and those guys and the guys outside, he goes, "Let me tell you something about the FBI. They're smarter, they got more resources, and they're just waiting for me to make a mistake to put me away for the rest of my life."
You know what's crazy about that? I heard that Castellano said there was maid who he was having an affair with.
Yeah.
Just before he had like a premonition, I heard that. He said, guys like me wind up dead on the street.
Yeah. I heard he was very soft. Anybody that through the grapevine said Paul Castellano was not. He was a soft. He was a banker, playboy, hanging at the country club type of guy. Was not hardcore at all.
Oh, you know what else I heard about? This is probably true, right? He would go to the Staten Island Mall where I lived
Yeah.
by himself. Listen to this: no bodyguards, not even carrying a gun with him.
Yeah, because he wasn't a threat to nobody.
You know why? Because also he thought he was invincible.
He was because he thought that the future was he was going to make it into a Fortune 500 company, and he was good at investing his money, and he had a legitimate business. He gave his kids a meat packing plant. He gave his other kid another big co-op meat company, which were They were multi-million-dollar business that he built them to. He was in the meat business when he was.
But how
a kid.
crazy is that, Joe? You think about it, right? He walked in the mall by himself, not
Yeah.
a bodyguard, not a gun. Meanwhile, other bosses had like 10 gorillas around and bodyguards.
Michael tells a story on his podcast. You probably see this. I know you watch Michael a lot. Michael's told a story when he was playing baseball in Little League. He says, "I'm playing Little League, and I'm stretching my neck to see if my dad's in the stands." Right? He's all of a sudden, all these Cadillacs pull up in the left field corner. They park their cars there, and here comes my dad with his whole. He said my father was with a whole stack of entourage of bodyguards. Here he is, dressed to the nines, and he walks. They actually walked on the side of the field. The umpire, Michael's up to bat. The umpire sees Sonny Franchise and all the guys and would not call a strike on Michael. He was so scared when he saw Sonny. Michael said from that day on, he never was struck out ever again. Every time with the bat, the umpire would walk him.
Well, unbelievable, right?
Because they feared his father. And that, to me, I got a kick out of it because all they did, Sonny didn't do. He wasn't there to beat up no umpires. He was there to see his son play. But the mentality of people, oh my God, that's Sonny Franchise. oh my God, this is his kid. Never will I call a strike on him again.
You
You
know
talk about that's
what's really
wild.
sad?
That's power. That's power.
How you know what's really sad though? Like even how civilians react to them too, because like I don't know if you ever met her online. She's on Facebook online. Al Capone's niece, Deidre
No, I
Capone.
never. I heard that she does go online, but I know I've never talked to her. No.
I've spoken to her. I haven't spoken to her in a while.
Yeah.
Right. I was reading like an excerpt from her book.
Right.
You know what's really crazy, right? When she was a little girl, you know, she still went by the name Capone because she was at that time. She sent out invitations for her birthday. Her family did.
Right.
No kids wanted to come and show up. Their parents wouldn't let them.
Yeah, it's true that happened a lot to them. And
How
how about
sad
the
is
kids? Like
that
I
kid
think
didn't
I
do
heard,
anybody.
I wasn't it Bill Bonanno or somebody. I think it was Bill Bonanno when he was a kid. He said people would show up for my birthdays. Or Michael. No, Michael said it. Michael said he's 12, 13 years old. He don't know none of the people at his party, and they're giving him large envelopes of money at 13 years old. He didn't understand why.
Oh, dad, definitely.
Because until he got older, he says it was because my dad. They knew they better come to the party and give me a big gift because of their dad. They feared their dad. But that's how that life was for them. If their dad was a powerful boss, weddings, you would 500 people show up. Half of them be senators, police officers, judges. They would all be at these weddings. They would go or send something. That was true. Those old timers had that kind of power. Today,
definitely.
Today, these guys, they're all cowboys. They don't got no respect, no order. Do you know that they sanction now the New York guys after the last cleanup? People think that the mob is done. The 5 families are still active. They're very
not
dormant.
done at all.
They're very dormant. They're very low key, but
they'll never die.
They'll never die. They're waiting to get strong again. And I think I heard a rumor that one of the families started going ahead to build strong again because they need to go back and fix their neighborhood that's being destroyed. And I think the old timers had a vision. They wanted to make it corporate America for their grandkids. They wanted their grandkids to be running corporate America legitimately for the future. So they didn't have to. So they did all the legal stuff to get their grandsons through college and lawyer, and then wanted them to go into the real world with all the money, make it clean, and run legitimate businesses. That was the dream that they wanted. But of course, that RICO Act came in and Giuliani. And they did a lot of damage. You know, they did a lot of damage.
Well, that's the thing because I think they're dormant, but they're still out. They'll never.
They're still there. All 5 families are active. If you listen to some of the podcasts that are on today, like some of these guys, like that one guy that's in Florida, the captain was a Bonanno. He said the Bonanno family is making a comeback, and they also said the Colombo family is the strongest right now in New York. And
I seen that guy you talked. You showed a clip of last time, right?
Yeah.
What do you call it? I forgot his name. Dom. I think his name is Dom. You showed
Dominic. The one we showed. I can't pronounce his last name. It's
somebody was giving him a lot of crap online.
Well, it's that Jeff Nardi guy that does a podcast. The guy that kid that does a podcast he became like a Joe Rogan. He got really big on YouTube, and he got a bunch of sponsors, and he's getting paid big money. He goes after the mob guys. He calls them out.
I don't really care for him. He's somebody that wish he was in the real mob.
Well, you know what? You want to see him? You want me to show him?
I know who he is. We didn't even talk.
Okay.
I know who he is, but the thing is, he thinks.
But did you hear what he did? Did you hear what he did to Dominic?
He went after him somehow.
But he put his address out on the internet, and there's a contract on him. Dominic still has a contract hanging over his head.
I'm surprised the FBI didn't go after this guy.
Well, he called the FBI and let him know if you get a phone call, I killed somebody. You know there's a contract on me. Well, this moron on the internet gave my address out so the fucking guys that got a contract on me could come and kill me.
Unbelievable.
And he called the FBI. He said, "Listen,
I don't know how this guy didn't have his channel struck."
He goes after. Let me tell you something. He's made a lot of enemies. A lot of people want to go after this guy, but he thinks he's invincible.
He's not.
Chat room all the time. He's a very arrogant guy, man.
I don't know why he didn't get his channel struck for that.
Because he's like a real reporter that's going after these guys and calling them out for, like, the guys that come back with these podcasts. He calls and said they're lying, they're still in the mob, they're fake, they're scamming you. He went after Dominic, and Dominic is a big man, and he was a stone cold killer when he was the captain. He brings on guests that said that were in the mob, said that he was one of the most feared guys out there. He had no tolerance. He said, if I hit a guy, let me tell you something. He goes, I knocked him out. Guy gets back up, I put him right back down. This guy he's still
No,
strong.
but I see him. He look like he's an animal. The guy's
He's an animal. He gets crazy. And you know what he said the other day in his podcast? He goes, "I've changed my life." He looked up at God. He goes, "God, you changed me. I'm with you." He says, but he said to this because Jeff Nardi got some of his fans to turn on him. Some of the people that because he's got loyal people because he started that new coin that La Nostra crypto coin. He has his own coin. Well, apparently, some things happened where somebody got into the crypto accounts and stole a bunch of stuff. So now everybody calls that he's just a scammer. He really they believe in Nardi that he's scamming. He didn't. He explained everything. He put most of his own money into it, and they're saying that they're just all over this guy. And I respected him for what he did. He looked up at God. He said, "God, I'm trying to be." He goes, "I'm trying to be. I'm not in that life no more. I read it. I got out of that life. I went to prison. I'm home. I go to church." He said, "But I'm telling you, I still was a gangster at one time in my life, and it could be easily brought back." So he looked in the mic and looked in the camera. He says, "I don't want to come back as a gangster, but if anybody's going to provoke me, just know I've killed over 30 men, and I won't hesitate to kill another 30.
Was he a racketeer type too, or just?
He was both. Very smart, but he was a pit bull. He talks about murders like nothing. He told me I dropped this guy. He goes he like he said, I want to be on the good side of the fence. I want to be with God. I want to walk good. I got a wife that I love. I got a family. I'm trying to do everything legit. But they don't understand is I was a gangster, a feared gangster. I've murdered many of people myself, and they're pushing me back. So he told the FBI this. He called the FBI and said, "You know there's a contract still up under my head. You guys don't go." He's trying to get this guy his channels out and get him arrested. You don't do nothing with this guy. He put my address on his show. And now the people that have a contract know where I live. So I had to call the FBI because you know me. If they come through that door, I'm murdering everyone that comes through that door. He said, so I had to let the FBI know when you get the call to come arrest me, know it was self-defense and know what happened. So he did the right thing. He reported it. But I would not ever provoke a guy who's done over 30 murders and talks about it like it was nothing to him.
No, because I remember Sammy the Bull, when I watched his early podcast.
Sammy the Bull, I heard a lot of bad things about him in prison. Someone said he got slapped the shit out of real bad and did nothing about it.
I remember him talking about his first hit.
Yeah.
He talked about it, and somebody's interviewing him, and he goes, "What was did your first hit bother you, Sam?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I was kind of excited by it." That's what he said.
Remember that because when he interviewed, remember the first time when he interviewed was it with Barbara Walters? I think.
Oh, yeah.
When he was still young and he wound up doing 5 years and got out, and they asked him, did you? Because some guys, it's hard for them on the first one. They say it becomes easier and easier if you're gonna get sick, they usually get sick on the first one. They usually throw up on the first one, and they can't stomach it. Sammy said he had no remorse. It was easy, but here's why: Sammy was in the military, and he was a trained he was a trained killer. He blames the United States government for drafting him and making him a killer. That's what his excuse was why he's a killer.
Do you think that? I wonder how Roy DeMeo's first hit was. That it bought him? Probably not. Yeah.
Roy DeMeo was just plain. Who do you want to talk about next?
Oh, Gambino. That's good.
We do Gambino. I got him right here. Let's pull up Gambino. But do you want to do DeMeo tonight?
Yeah, definitely. We'll do him too.
Okay, I'll get DeMeo up there too. I got Joseph Bonanno. I think you want to do him because he's old.
Oh, definitely.
I got Sammy in here. We already did Catola. We'll do Gambino now, this is a good guy. Carl Gambino, there's a lot of history with this man. He was a very quiet man, but another no tolerance guy. If you broke the rules, he'd kill you. He'd take you out.
Gambino's a little different in a way because I'll tell you why when we put him up.
Do you know that he was a made guy in Italy? When he came to America, he had to get remade, but he was already a made guy over there. He's the only gangster that came over that was made in America and in Italy.
The crazy thing about him is, right, the thing about him is, right, like you were just saying, he was made in the mafia in
he Sicily, came over as a made guy at 21 years old. He was already a made guy in Italy.
Well, but the bottom line about him is, like, his whole family is in the mafia for generations.
Everything. He comes from a long line of mafia guys.
You know what I mean? And to them, it was like
he was born into
like,
life.
Say somebody's dad was a plumber,
Yeah.
they became a plumber. You know,
Right.
to them it was
Exactly.
kind of like
Yes.
they didn't think it was a criminal thing. They thought it was
No.
as a tradition to follow in.
That's right. That's
Not
correct.
only that, like the whole family joined because they felt insulated, safe. Am I right or
Right.
wrong? Because you know, being able to surrounded by family and everything the
Right.
family would do them in. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
right? And that's why for insulation. But his sons, both of them,
Yeah.
were wise guys, but they were way more racketeers than
More record too.
gangsters.
So they had some brains and because so they probably did a lot of the
Well,
bookend work
they
on.
were very big
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
their father was big.
garment industry.
He's a big name, Carlos Gambino. He was a big time old timer. I
Oh,
mean,
definitely, because his son Thomas and Joseph were huge in the garment industry.
garment.
Right?
Okay, that was big in New York, the garment
Oh,
industry.
definitely.
And
And
is it true it went to
trucking.
the? Did it go to the Russians or did it go to the Chinese?
I'm not really sure, but no, they kept it. But the thing about them is they were huge in the garment and trucking.
Big business in New York.
But you know what? Though they also, I think the son Thomas donated like a wing to a hospital for some kind of
What?
cancer thing. I think.
Really, Mike? I'm going to read the super chats because sometimes people got to leave and then they
Oh,
pay.
okay, no problem.
I'm going to read that. This is from Pool Scam Sam, who's a big fan. I love this guy. Pool Scam Sam with the $9.99. Joey C. Army. I've been proud supporting of Joey. Tough guy, Mike. Block me. You lose nuts, Mike. You know this guy.
Well, no, I just won because you sent this money. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, Pool Scam Sam. You've always been supported. I love you. And Mike's a real good guy. Give Mike a pass. He's a good guy. I think
Something
you'll grow
must
to
have
like
happened.
Mike.
I don't know what happened, pool scam, but that
I'm sure that he had a good reason. This is from Tio Hanks, another good guy. A man I have been around a couple times. I met him a couple times, and he's been very kind to me. He's always treated me like a gentleman. I got nothing but love for Tio Hank.
well, Tio, I don't even like John Richards.
Well, he's big. He's Kevin's boy now. He used to be. I don't know if he's still with Kevin. He
really?
was a Kevin Brennan guy all the way.
What do you call it? First of all, Tio, you don't even know my personality. You don't even know me or John Ritchie. So, see you, buddy. Thanks for the
Who is John Ritchie? Who's he talking about? Who's this John Ritchie?
John Ritchie was the co-host of Naughty Lang show.
Okay. So this is an old rivalry from your
Yeah. Thank you, Tio.
from your comedy days. I see.
Thank you, Tio, for the unfunny insult.
Thank you, Tio, very much. And if this guy's telling you to watch out for Ralphie Bachman, don't worry. This guy likes to always put Ralphie Bachman on everybody. Slapjaw Timothy Smallwood, thank you for $1.99. He says, Michael, weren't you associated with Phil Leonardo?
No,
Leonardo?
I don't have no
Leonetta?
idea. No, I'm not associated with anybody.
Yeah. No. Mike did say in the past shows he went to school with a lot of bosses' kids.
I went to school.
Normal.
I went to school.
Normal.
I grew up with a lot of people whose family were high-ranking members, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, with that, my friends who were civilians were the best people ever.
They were. I mean,
they weren't punks. They weren't. Their kids would not be bullying people on the internet. I'll put it.
You know, I get when myself, I'm a victim of setting myself up for a lot of bullshit on the internet because I tell. But what I don't like is if you don't really like me, why are you here? You don't have to watch me. No one's forcing you to be here and watch me. If you don't like my show or don't like what I say and you think that I'm lying about everything, then why would you put yourself through that watching the show if you hated the guy, you didn't believe nothing he said, and would you torture yourself like that?
Well, no, but the crazy thing is Howard Stern's people love to hate him. How crazy is that?
It's crazy, man. Howard Stern, what his motto was this. Because he sucked in the beginning. When Howard got out of college, he was the worst DJ in the world. He sucked.
Everybody does in the beginning.
He sucked. He couldn't. He was not good. But he finally buckled down and he thought because he had a brain. Well, and he put together a little skit.
So with anything, practice makes perfect. Like
everything you do, practice, you're going to get better.
Joe, some of the worst actors. Bad actors became phenomenal ones.
How many bad actors were started out that were terrible?
Well, I'll give you a good example, right? And he's a legend, and he's a great actor, De Niro, right? One thing about him is that he's not a good auditioner for cold readings.
But he was definitely was one guy that got in his character. He would never go off character.
I mean,
we got another one coming in, Mike. This is from Ray I think we're getting a few Kevin Ray. There's 5-year-old fight out. Joey, what about the infamous New York gangster Sammy? Who? Sammy Micah Muka. Oh, okay, I get it. What about the New York gangster Sammy Mike's mom? Hora.
Well, put it this way, Ray. Your
He's talking
dad's
about your mom.
Hey, Ray, if I punch your dad in the eye, 20 dicks would come out of his mouth.
Wow, that's a great comeback. Thanks, Rapey Ray. That was a good one, Mike.
Thank you, Joe. I dealt with that douchebag before.
Yeah, this is your people coming to attack you now. Oh, this is great. This is great. I love it. That's what I love about it. See, Mike, I couldn't thank Kevin enough yesterday. He goes, he knows, he saw the. I go, Mike and I get along. So I go, I love the guy, man. I said, he goes, you guys got a lot in common. I can see that. I go, we do. But we have the same beliefs, and we both.
Well, Joe, we don't like fucking scumbag bullies.
And you know what? And I know when Mike says, and I told Mike the same thing. Mike and I will not let nobody put a bridge between us. We're not going to fall for none of that. We are in this together. And like I said, I'm loyal. I said,
me too.
I've tried so many times to just bring someone on that could be just be
Joe,
real. You know,
I've been in this business 34 years, right?
Oh, God, man.
And you know what? How many times I help people, they cut my throat.
There's a lot of cutthroats everywhere in life, man. It's just horrible. But here's
Joe,
when you cut someone's throat, when you go after people
in my life,
and you accomplish nothing out of it, it backfires on you, and you continue doing it over and over. What do they think they're gaining? I mean, these people, there's some diehard people in these chat rooms that believe they have the power to drive someone away off the internet if they want to. They get there in their mind, we're going to get them. Tonight's the night we're taking them. You're done. Who the hell do they think they are that they have that power? Because I told them all the time, you'll never run me off the internet unless I'm ready to go.
Annoys me a little about Melendez in a way, because the thing is, right, everybody on here, especially people that have been in this for years like Melendez,
yeah,
and Kevin, are trying to make a living and do the right thing.
Right.
And then they're fighting like 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Melendez loves to go after people.
You know what I found funny? You know what I found funny? And a lot of people for the last 2 years have went after Stutter and John really bad. A lot of people. Kevin is a guy that gave him a benefit of doubt. He tried back and forth with John.
Oh, definitely.
You know, John done some horrible things with the doxing thing, and
so did I. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he went after me.
But what? Here's the thing. But then you see them all together at a show, and they're all buddies. They look like they're all buddies.
Of course. It's like,
so I'm really starting to wonder because
that's championship wrestling.
It is because I caught something about a year ago, and I said, you know what? I think that these big shows got everybody fooled because they all sit at a table and they plot everything out that they're going to happen in this Dabbleverse. And they're just circle jerking everybody.
Oh, of course, because it's like wrestlers. Like, say Hulk Hogan was going to fight Andre the Giant. They'd go to a steak dinner before, sit down, and go, okay, this time you win. Next time I win.
Yeah, I start to believe that the 5 biggest shows or 6 biggest shows, they really sit down. They're all friends. Even Stutter and John's at this table. I'm telling you, I believe this. And I believe that.
Joe, you want to hear something really funny? My friend used to go to wrestling all the time, right?
Yeah.
I used to go to. This was back in the mid '80s. I was with him that day. We seen the Iron Sheik.
Oh, the Iron Sheik, yeah.
Slaughter,
I used to like him.
Fight Sergeant Slaughter, and my friend said he had gone to another time, but I wasn't there. He said after they were walking out of the garden, he sent them to walking into a restaurant, sitting down to eat. How crazy is that?
Oh, that's great. It's funny, but now, like Mike, you've been around some great people. I mean, my life has been fortunate. I was around a lot of big stars in baseball. I know some pretty big actors.
Oh, ask me, Joe. You went to the game today. How was it?
Oh, it was a great time. It was the 7th inning. It was crowded, and my son goes, "You want?" He was worried about because you see how red I got. My face got red in the sun real bad.
Who played? I'm sorry.
The Phillies played we went to the Phillies spring training place in Clearwater, and the Braves came over from Orlando to play the Orlando Braves. It was a 0-0 tie going into the 7th, and my son had to get back home to his wife because he was going to dinner, and they were so packed. If we would have waited to leave in the ninth inning, we would have sat in the park lot for 2 hours. That's how many people were there.
Well, because Joe, is this a regular game or preseason?
The spring training game. It was at the spring training. Yeah, it was
Oh,
just a regular spring training game. Yeah.
how's the stadium? Joe, I haven't been to a game in like 13 years, right?
Yeah, it's been.
But-
It was Mike. I left baseball, my job in 15. I ain't been in the ballpark since.
Well, because the last game I went to, I was in Seattle. Went out there for business, right?
The Mariners,
Yeah. Listen what happened, right?
Safeco Park.
My friends who took me out there knew one of the big shots that worked for the Mariners, right?
Yeah,
We had, listen to the seats we had. This blew my mind. We were 10 rows behind home plate.
that's where we were. We were 13 rows behind home plate today.
Unbelievable seats, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Joe, isn't it? Oh, you want to know what's crazy? I started going to baseball in the early 70s, right?
Yeah.
Listen to how crazy prices were then.
My wife made me dinner. It's ice cold now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right, but it's not your fault. She does it all the time. She knows my show time.
grandfather used to have season tickets for the Mets, right? Joe, listen to this. This is 1971. Box seats reserved for the Mets,
Yeah.
$8.
Oh yeah. The bleachers at Wrigley Field. One thing, the Cubs were a losing team in the 70s and the early 80s. They were pathetically always in the fifth place or sixth place. But they packed them bleachers every game. And
Wow.
people would, and they used to have all day games, they'd have night games. And I'd be working at the stadium, and the bleachers would be $2. They charged $2 to get a bleacher. You come there for $2, and the same people came every day. They were so loyal to the Cubs. It was a great time. Great time. And it's still one of the smallest ballparks in all baseball. Wrigley Field is an icon. They'll never tear it down. It's a national historical place now.
Joe, I've never been there, but how is it expensive? All these parks are expensive now.
Listen to me. We were walking around. I don't drink no more. My son don't drink. But he goes, "You hungry, Pop?" I said, "I probably could eat it. I don't like to eat heavy, but I can eat it. I can eat almost anything as long as I don't overdo." So he goes, "I'll go get us a couple cheese and steak sandwiches." And they were outstandingly good. They were so good.
Oh,
He
wow.
comes back, and I got my water, and he's got his Gatorade. About the seventh inning, he saw us getting beat ready. He goes, "Pop, you want to go get you need water or something?" He goes, "You've been a son." So we went up to he goes, "I got to go to the bathroom." So I walked with him to the Concord. He goes, let me get you an icy to cool you off. An Italian ice, he goes. And I was on the phone with you. Remember, Mike? I was on the phone with you.
Oh, yeah.
And you heard us order. We were on the phone with you. And so we asked for 2 lemon ice, and the guy comes back and goes, "Oh, I'm out of lemon." And he goes, so my son got a watermelon, and I got raspberry. And it was from some company. I forgot. It was some of the best Italian ice I've ever eaten. So then I go, he goes, "You want to go next door to mine and comment and see if Ray's there?" I go, we looked at the time. I go, "We can try. He might be already gone." One of my friends who was a major league pitcher for a long time. He's a pitching coordinator for the rehab guys, but he's on the minor league side. I go, "Well, we'll go over there and I can say hi to a couple people." And but then Chase Utley was there. Chase Utley, I didn't know was the coach. And
Wow.
Chase, I had Chase when he was in the minor leagues in the locker room. He was under. I ran the locker room when he was in A-ball with the Phillies. And Chase was a pretty good guy. He's a coach now. He threw out the first pitch tonight. It was funny. Good to see him. But we got over to Ray was already gone. And my son goes, "That's a pal. I'll take you home now." Because my son called me last week, goes, "Pop, I missed me and you having Father and Sunday. We were together every day, my son.
Oh,
And then,
nice.
I went away and he got married and he's got his own life now. But we're only 30 minutes away. He goes, "Pop," he goes, but he's got a big responsible job. He's just got a big promotion.
Oh, nice.
He goes, "Pop, I don't care. You come over anytime you want." He says, and I don't want to bother him. See, I don't want to intrude on him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "You don't have to call me, Pop. You're my father. You come on." I don't do that, Dom. I don't want to bother you, you know? He goes, "It ain't going to be a bother. You know when I'm off." He goes, "I like you to come over." He goes, and I hate the fact that the tradition where families got together on Sunday and had dinner. It's like it's gone out of America. And it is. It's a shame because he goes, "I want to bring back the tradition. I want to have all the family together on Sundays." He's going to be he's going to be the one that's going to take the family to the right level in the future.
It's crazy because
He is.
it
He's a good
reminded me
kid,
of my
man.
childhood. Like when we go out to visit my uncle and aunt in Long Island, my grandfather's family, we go on a Sunday, right? We'll leave early because in those days, there was no GPS. You had to travel to a certain time, right? My aunt would make homemade ravioli or manigot from scratch, right?
Oh my God.
Right? Be a whole table full of people having fun, laughing, right? those days are done now. Sadly, it sucks.
I could go for a good homemade plate of man to goat. You know.
Oh, me too. It's like,
My
oh,
God.
Joe, I was going to ask you, right? There was a fantastic restaurant I went to in Chicago when I was there back in 2001.
Huh?
I don't know if it's still there, but I had a salad for the first time with walnuts in it,
It was called
right?
walnuts.
Salad, it had like an
Oh yeah, okay.
Italian
With
walnuts,
walnuts on.
right?
Okay, yeah.
This place was called Topo Gigio's, like the puppet of Ed Sullivan.
Where was it at? Was it downtown?
It was by like where Second City is on North Wells, I think.
Oh, like Wall Street. So it was down by Division and Wells over there.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't know if it's
Chicago,
still there, but they had a lot of good little restaurants over there on Wall Street and Division over there.
it was Joe, and I had so much fun, Joe. I had a Chicago hot dog. There's nothing
Oh,
like
they're
it.
the best. The hot dogs are the best.
Nothing like it, Joe.
Don't ever ask for ketchup. They'll pull a gun on you and shoot you.
Oh no, I never asked for
They
ketchup.
got signs. They got signs in some of the hot dogs there. Do not ask for ketchup with a gun pointing at the. They got a picture of a gun.
Joe,
And the guy
I think
the guy that owns the
think
place, he's got a big old gun on the side out of it. And I'll tell you what, in the dead of winter, the lines out the door at 2 a.m, people standing to get a hot dog and an Italian ice because they're coming from the clubs. And he's 24/7 with his business.
well, first of all, Joe, right, being a native New Yorker, I think anybody good putting ketchup on a hot dog should be shot.
Yeah. You remember Clint Eastwood and Dirty Harry?
Yeah.
He told me it was one of his partners. He says the guy that ate hot dogs. He goes, and who puts ketchup on a hot dog? You know, because I was a big Clint Eastwood guy. Because Clint Eastwood he was famous for those one-liners that just stuck to you. You know, when he came out with later on with the other, he he goes, you got to ask yourself one thing. And I know with all this confusion, I lost count myself. Did he shoot 5 shots or 6? In all this confusion, I lost count. He goes, so you got to ask yourself a question. Do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do you?
Oh no, I remember
that was one of my favorite things that Clint Eastwood did. The way he did it,
Joe,
was great.
and that was Joe, and that was the first time I was seeing a 44 Magnum. The damage I think
they didn't make a lot of those. The one that Bronson nicknamed Wildy. You remember Bronson had it in one of his movies, and when he went to go help the old guys, his friends, and he said, "Don't worry, Wildy will be here tomorrow." And the guy kept saying, "Who's Wildy?" "Oh, don't worry, you'll meet Wildy." And he got that 44 Automag. They only made so. They said they only made like a handful of them, and Clint Eastwood had one of them. And he got to keep that one, and Charles Bronson had one of them, and they only made a couple of those. There was a special gun made, a 44 Automag that would cut through you like a machine gun.
Joe, that thing, am I right or wrong, would blow your head off at point.
Blow your head off easily. You know how a shotgun will do you if you shoot someone in the face? A shotgun will blow your face completely. I'll tell you a true story. In Chicago, right by Cumberland Avenue, which is right before you go into O'Hare, the airport. And so you got Cumberland, River Road, and then you got Manheim, and then you got the airport. So on Cumberland, let's see, up to my west of Cumberland, west of Cumberland, they had these 3 high-rise apartments over there by O'Hare Airport called the Pavilion Apartments. Now, the Pavilion Apartments was an uppity complex with working class people, rich people lived there. It was high rise living, that luxury. They had a bar and a restaurant on the 3rd floor, a little pantry store downstairs. They had they had one of those little Chinese guys that did the sewing, the street seamstress. So they had shops in the building, and my son's godfather owned the bar, Joey Sapienza, and he's been retired. He's in California. Well, him and his 2 partners owned this bar. This is back right when I first started getting into cocaine. This was, and I got my daughter, and I'm working at the ballpark, and I'm going at night. I was working around the clock to take care of my daughter, because the first time I was a dad. So he puts me in the kitchen. I cook. I always love cooking. So it was a busy night, and they did everything there. I mean, they guys sold drugs out there. It was women up to the wall. People. They had disco night, and he was getting ready. Joe was wanting to get out of the business, so he bought out his other 2 partners. This happened about a couple of weeks before this incident happened. He got in a big fight with his partner, so he told him, "Listen, here's the money. I'm buying you out. I can't deal with you being my partner." So he does that. The other guy now wants to leave because he only came in because the guy that he bought out was friends with him mostly. So he wanted out. His name was Harvey. So they buy Harvey out. He gets into Tom, the guy he didn't like. So now Joe's solo. Well, Joe Joe was Italian, a very hot-headed Italian guy he became my son's godfather.
Oh, like
And
Mr. Bacigalupo and Abbott Costello, like that.
yeah, he just was, but he was a good guy. But he was just, you didn't mess with him. He was just a guy that he liked power, he liked money, and he was a dark olive skin Italian with the jet black hair, and he commanded respect, and he got it. So he's got the new guy. He just wants to get out of the business because his brothers were in California and they opened an auto body business in Redondo Beach. They're still in Redondo Beach, and so his brother Jeff has got a six body. So they're trying to get their brother to come out there and go in business with him on some business out there. So he's ready to go. He's ready to Chicago. So he brings in this guy that was Batsu. When I tell you Batsu, Mike, this guy was fucking Batsu. This old guy named Frank. And he went around. He was real personable. Came in the kitchen. He goes, "Hey, I'm Frank." And I'm like, "Hey, this guy's pretty upbeat, man. This guy looks like he's gonna be okay." And he was straight Batsu. So he makes the deal. He sells it. The guy goes, "Will you stay on as my cook and work?" I go, "I only work part time. I'll go." So it was a Monday night. It was football night. It was a Monday football. So he had his football people in there, and I'm pumping out orders of cheese sticks, all kind of stuff for the deep fry. We're just pumping out all kinds of appetizers. All of a sudden, there was three waitresses on the floor, and two bartenders, and myself and another person in the kitchen. And he started drinking really heavy, the new owner. I mean, he was bad. So he come in that day, and he brought a shotgun.
Oh,
and he put it in his office, but we knew he was crazy. So his assistant told Frank, you don't need a gun in here. You got too bad of a temper and you're drinking. This is a bad idea. So he goes, "Don't tell me how to run my place." So they got in an argument, and he goes, "Just let me take the gun out of here." Because this guy drank heavy and he got really mean with everybody. He started going after the waitresses. He started, talking to them nasty in front of the clients, the people, and he was a bad drunk. So the guy was trying to save face to get that gun out of there. He wouldn't budge. About 10 o'clock at night, this lady who worked there part-time, I kid you not, she was a school teacher. She was doing it for extra money to put her kid through college. Okay? She was in her mid-40s. Nice lady, family lady. And she was a good-looking woman, so he hired her because she was good-looking cocktail waitress, you know what I'm saying? She still had her looks at 40-something years old. Came out. I'm gonna tell you what he did. First, I'm gonna back up a bit. He used to take the fucking marker and mark the booze bottles because he would leave so drunk. Me and his assistant, we would close the place up for him. So I got more full time there especially in the winter months when it was baseball season, and I was with Big Tony. And Tony says, "This guy's nuts. This guy. We can't let him have guns around. This guy's crazy." I go, "He is nuts." And we would sit there and do lines, and he goes, he was pouring on that. I go, "What's that mark on that bottle?" He looked. He goes, "Son of a bitch!" So he went to all the bottles, and there was a marker. He so paranoid. He thought we were stealing the fucking booze. He started marking the fucking all the bottles. Figured if it's below the line, he caught us. You know what I'm saying? And then we found a secret camera from his apartment that he was watching us in the fucking bar. Now we're like, okay, this fucking guy. So the waitress, the busy night, they had little words. All right. Tony calms him down like he always did, got him out of there. This guy's, I'm not scared of too many people. This guy was the office rocker, man, that you couldn't predict him. The following week on football, he tied in with the same waitress, this lady who was just there making extra money. He went to wave the sawed-off shotgun in her face.
Whoa.
To scare her. It went off. All we heard was this loud noise, ran to the office. Her fucking head and face was all off and on the wall.
Oh, God.
And he's standing over the body with no head looking at us. I fucking turned around and said, "I don't know what's in that gun. I don't know if he's got many more fucking bullets in there." Because when a guy does that and he's staring at you like, you better watch out, you're next. And Tony was a big guy. He was a Greek guy. Big Greek guy. And he just worked his way slowly to Frank and then fucking hit him so fucking hard in the face and knocked him out and called the police that came. He fucking went to prison for life for murder. He blew this mother. This mother, she had little kids and a kid going to get ready for college and blew her. Let me tell you, I've seen a lot of bad. Her face was literally planted on the wall.
Well, Joe, the thing is, she was killed in second. Oh God, right?
And we knew. Here's the worst part: is everybody predicted this would happen.
Wow, that poor woman died in a heartbeat, right? Oh yeah.
Trying to do good woman. It wasn't there being a floozy part-time gig she got, but everybody knew this man had guns in there and he was nuts. And nobody had the balls to just go in there and take. I'm ashamed of ourselves because we were there when he left and we had keys to every room. But then, like I told you, he started marking the booze bottles. He was testing us, seeing if we're stealing. We should have took that gun out of that office and got rid of it. We should have. And we didn't. And you know what? So, but you can't, people say, don't put that blame on yourself. You didn't kill her. You know he was nuts. And I stuff like that bothers me. We had an opportunity. We were there alone. Tony and I could have got rid of that gun. We didn't. So we kind of blamed ourselves. I go, we can't do that. Right? You're not supposed to do that to yourself. It wasn't our fault. You know? So, but that's what I'm saying. That was probably that was a hard thing to see on the wall.
It's tough because I know you felt you thought you were responsible, but we can't control other people's actions.
Yo, and you know what happens then? That place was closed down. Never ever to be a bar. The bar licenses that were there were taken away, and it never became a bar again.
Never allowed another bar there after that.
Never allowed. Not even anybody could go there and open a bar ever again there.
What is it now?
I don't have no idea. I've been away from Chicago for a lot of years now, but I'm sure it's something. I'm sure it's a restaurant because it was always a restaurant with a bar, but I don't think they were able to sell liquor there anymore.
Oh,
no, there's no way they ever got a bar license again for selling liquor. No way.
Brennan, how old was he when he left Chicago, you think?
I think he was a teenager, wasn't he?
I'm not really sure when he moved to Philly, but
well, we're almost from the same neighborhood, Kevin. He was out from Western Avenue.
He lived very close to you?
Not far, not a couple neighborhoods over, but he was right in the heart of the city where I was.
Oh, there's a part of Chicago. So much of this money part of Chicago called Deer Park.
Yeah.
That's a wealthy area.
Whoa. Did you hear that?
No.
That was fucking thunder, loudest thunder I ever heard.
I didn't hear anything. Sorry.
Woo! That rattled the whole fucking windows all shook.
Well.
Holy shit, it's storming out there. That was loud. That scared the shit out of me.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, well, there was a lot of common. You know how Queens is in New York. A lot of common neighborhoods.
Oh yeah, because
Queens is common place. It's just a common place.
I heard a really bad area was Cabrini Greens.
Cabrini Green was one of where they tore all the high-rise projects down in Chicago.
That was a bad area, right?
Cabrini Green was a place the cops would not even take a call and go into. Every time the cops got a call in there, they would get pinned down in a shootout with the gangbangers.
Because I heard the Cabrini Greens, right?
Cabrini Green was on Clybourne Avenue.
The TV show Good Times was supposed to be based out of that apartment complex.
Yeah. Cabrini Green was Robert Taylor homes were bad too. Robert Taylor homes was the Latin Kings and the Vice Lords, and they take what you see when they make these documents on the documentaries on all these gangbangers and leaders. They really do take possession of those high rises, and they go and scare the old people and take over their apartments, make them they do that. They use them as where they make the drugs. It's very, very controlled by a lot of gangs. So finally, the city of Chicago, they knocked every high rise down so they couldn't get in there. The gangbangers would keep the police out, or they would shoot at the police as soon as they came in. A lot of cops got killed in Cabrini Green. A lot of shootouts. So cops stopped going in there. Back in those days, cops didn't make a lot of money. They said, "Fuck that! I'm not going to go into a war zone to get killed by these fucking gangbangers."
How's the area now?
They rebuilt that whole area. That's all. Anything close to downtown is all rich now. It's all rich.
Like in New York, like
they did it. What they did in Tampa. Anything downtown. My neighborhood is 2 minutes from downtown. They're up. We got a female mayor here, and she is one of the best mayors. She kicked all the river. Just 10 years ago, it used to be a heavy drug area. You got $1 million homes now.
Well, certain areas in Brooklyn and Manhattan were horrible. Right. Now it's all like trust fund money kids.
Well, she don't want no scum neighborhood. She's pushing everybody out of Tampa. That she wants to make any real estate in Tampa for the rich and for the tourists to come in. She wants to make this back to a tourist where all the tourists come here, like it was in the 30s and the 40s and the 20s when Al Capone used to go. Al Capone, they nicknamed Tampa and St. Pete Little Chicago because they did a lot. They used a lot of the builders that they built in Chicago to build buildings here in the downtown.
Joe, how far was his house from you? They knocked his house down.
Oh, Capone's? Well,
Yeah.
he was in Miami. I don't know where his house was in Tampa, but his house in Miami, someone lives there. Someone bought that house, I think. Did they?
They knocked it down
Did
recently.
they finally knock it down? I know someone had bought it and lived in it for a while.
The thing I heard they knocked it down a couple of years ago. The thing
Yeah,
is,
they probably did. Yeah.
Did he live on an island or?
That's where all the Stallone was out there. Madonna. You go through a gate. It's a very private. It's its own private island on Miami with their own part of the ocean and everything.
Wow, that's crazy. You need like a ferry to get there, right?
I don't know if they have to park and take a ferry, or if they got parking and they got to take a boat across to their house. I don't know how that one ever got in there, but I know where Howard Stern's got a place over on the other side of Florida, where I think where Mar-a-Lago is, where Trump is.
Well,
it's a private. I think that they say you got to get to the houses by boat on that island.
Joe, I only been to Florida once back in 2006 with Artie Lang. We did a gig in Miami, right?
Yeah.
But we went there in May. It was freaking boiling hot.
Oh yeah, May in Miami is definitely hot. So Carlos Gambino, let's get back to Carlos here. Carlos was what would you say? I think he fell under. He was a lion and a fox.
He was definitely a major.
He was a pit bull. He would kill you and not afraid to. But he was also a fox, and a fox was always smart. The man never spent the night in jail.
I don't think that he was like trigger happy like Anastasia was. That's for sure. Because I think he was more of a diplomat in the long run.
Here, Mike? Here's a perfect example, and you know I'm right. Isn't it better to do business without violence if you don't have to?
Oh yeah, I mean,
but see, gangsters would strong arm people and extort them because that's the only way they knew how to make money. So they used their power. Guys like him, he would go into a restaurant, a guy struggling, a family that's struggling with restaurant, and say, "I want to be your partner. I'm going to be a fair partner. I'm not going to bleed you dry. I'm going to keep your business alive. I'm going to bring my clientele in here, my people. And we're going to make this a first-class joint, and you're going to survive your business. You're going to be my partner. I'm going to take 70%. You're going to get 30%. You were losing 70%. Now I'm going to make you get 30%, and I'm going to take 70%. That's not a bad deal.
No, but the thing is, but the sad part of this whole thing is, there were guys like him who were diplomats. Then it were the serial killers like the mayor who loved whacking people out.
Right. Did you like Giuliani as a mayor? Did you think he was a good mayor?
Oh, I think I liked him for one. Well, the most important reason I liked him was when 9/11 happened, he took charge.
He did a very good job, I heard. Yeah, he was on top of his game.
Oh, that reminds me of 9/11. Here's what happened, right? There was, and this was on the news, right?
Right.
An Arab sheik gave him $10 million check to help him for the city. But you know what happened? The Arab sheik got very racist on the news. You know what he said? He goes, "I'm giving you guys $10 million to build the city, but the Jews bought this shit here, not us."
Yeah. So we got 25 minutes left, Mike. Let's make the best of it. Anything else you want to add to Carlos Gambino?
Oh, Giuliani tore the check up.
Yeah, Giuliani. You know, Giuliani's the one that solely wrote the RICO Act. He was the one that did it.
Oh, definitely. They had a hit on him too.
It happened in 1960. He said 66 or 67 when he wrote it, but he brought it to life in like 1972. That's when they first used it.
Well, you know what though? They tried to discredit him too because they said that Giuliani had family.
Did they just go after him with the Trump thing when Trump got in trouble? Wasn't he part of all that?
He might. I'm not really sure, but
he was Trump's lawyer. Wasn't he Trump's lawyer?
He could have been. I'm not really sure.
I thought I heard
but
that.
The thing
he
is,
got in some trouble. Now, here's the funny thing. Michael Franchese tells a story. Giuliani put him away for 10 years. And Giuliani wanted to put him away for 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
And Giuliani, Michael says this to this day. I had a respect for Giuliani because he came at you like a straight shooter. He didn't frame you. When he had you, I used to tell my guy, when you get caught dead to right, they got you honestly, and they didn't set you up, you got to be a man and go do your time.
Oh, that's what Sonny Black said about Donnie Brasco when he said about him. He said, he goes like this, "I'm not mad and angry at Donnie. He did his job, and we had to pay the price."
He did his job. And Michael said the same thing. If they did their job, we didn't mind getting arrested. We didn't like it, but we were okay if they did their job right. That means we didn't do our job right. If they caught us, we didn't do our job right. So Giuliani, Michael, today, because of Michael, what he become. And I'm gonna tell you something. Next time you get a chance, Michael's gonna come on this show with us one day. I promise you. He already told me. Every Sunday I talk to him, and he's just been busy, or he's out of country. He said, "We're gonna make the connection." Because I told him that you're a big fan of him too. I said, "I want you to come on and do. You don't have to do it for me. I know him, but I talk to him all the time. But I'm gonna tell you right now. You see that tattoo right there? It says
Yeah.
Proverbs 3:4-5. I believe it says. Is that what it says?
Yes.
There's only one other person that's got it on this, like right there. It is Michael. I did it when Michael did his.
Well, how long have you known him for, Joe?
I met him in 2003 in spring training in baseball. He had just got out of prison sentence. The FBI went to him a couple months before he got out and asked him if he would come and do a job. But he first thought they were nuts. They were trying to set him up. They said, "Listen, we got a lot of guys, athletes that are getting in trouble because they owe the bookies money, and they're especially in college basketball, and they're getting these athletes to cheat the games." And we want you to go around to all the sports camps in baseball and educate all the players, because you were in the rackets. You did gambling, and you dealt with guys. He told a story about how how deep Michael Jordan got into, and so that's what his job was. He out of prison, he went to talk to all the people. They would always have different days with spokesperson coming in. The FBI came in and talked about gambling. And it was a mandatory meeting. Any clubhouse, everybody had to be there. So I knew who he was because I was Italian, and I knew some Alpha guys. So I already knew who he was when he walked through the door. I go, "Damn, Michael Franchese's here." They go, "How do you know?" I go, "That guy is was the guy that did the gas scam, man. He made like $5 million a week." So I was already dying to meet him. And he came in and he tells the story who he was, and he was always a good speaker. Michael had a great voice to speak, and he was very educated. And he says, "I'm here to teach you guys about gambling, and if you owe the mob, what's going to happen to your career, and how the mafia is not going to lose, and how you're going to wind up either getting killed or going to jail." So he did this whole hour and a half speech, and he sat there and he answered questions. And then I waited, and I didn't want to bother. And all the players left. He was still talking with the manager, and the manager says, "Listen, I got this kid. We got this Italian kid. He's a great kid. He wants to meet you. Sure, bring him in." Met him. We hit it off good. We talked. I wasn't really clingy to him, but I knew what I was talking about. I asked him a few questions. He asked me where they're from. I said, "I'm originally from Chicago," and I told him that I admired his gas scheme, and he kind of crackled and laughed. He goes, "Yeah, well, it was a pretty good one. It was probably the best scam that was ever done in the history of the mafia." And I said, "This is really good. I learned a lot from what you're talking." He goes, "Well, they need to take it serious because the mob ain't going to lose. They're either going to make these guys shape."
So that's the thing about him, right? His scam didn't kill anybody.
No. And Michael always said his reasoning was, if a guy owes me money, but I know he's a good guy, and let's say he gets behind, if you kill him, you're not getting nothing. It's better off to maybe say, "Okay, we're going to tack on some more juice. I'm going to give you a month to get your stuff together, and then you're going to go up a little more points, and I'm going to get you out of this. I'm going to float you, or I'm going to float you to keep the business going." And because if a guy paid and never missed a payment and get in trouble, you don't go beat that guy up. You got to find out what the problem is. And then he spent, especially if it wasn't a guy that was reckless with his money. If the guy got a legitimate business because he made a bad decision or choice of business, he wasn't gambling. He wasn't doing drugs. He made a business mistake. So he would give guys, it was better to help the guy and recoup all the money. Because once you kill him, it's done. You ain't getting nothing.
Michael is way more of a diplomat than
diplomat. They called him the yuppie dom. They called him a yuppie gangster because
he would have been a good politician. Am I right or wrong?
Great politician. Let me tell you something. Like he says, I didn't have to, they weren't going to kill me, the mob. I didn't leave. I didn't run away and leave because they wanted me to. I wasn't going to be killed because they were going to come after me. I left. He said, and I did the right thing. I went to the bosses and he gave him $10 million. I want out. Here's $10 million. They took the money and let him out.
Of course, they're not, you know what I mean? Because of all,
he put $2 million every week. He said he put $2 million every week in Persico's pocket every week. He brought him a $2 million sack of money every week.
Well,
week in, week out.
All, he wasn't a rat snake or a punk.
He didn't take nobody down. There's no 302 saying he locked anybody up. He didn't testify against nobody. He did 10 years, and they call him a rat. Michael Franchese did not rat on anybody.
They did. The thing is, like I said, he didn't harm anybody. He didn't put anybody away. He didn't kill anybody that didn't need to be killed. He just that's what let him out.
You know what it was? he made a lot of money and it was stealing from the government, and that's why they went after him, because he took the United States tax from the gas, and that's what he scammed. And so he even said it. He said, I left for one reason and one reason only. I met my beautiful wife, and I didn't want to raise my kids or lose my wife or me get killed and they go through hell. I made a choice. My family meant more than me, and I was going to do my time. And once I knew my wife was going to stand by me while I did my 10 years, I would never go back to that life. And then he said, she was very religious when he met her.
One quote he made that made a lot of sense, right? That
all his quotes make sense to me.
Talk recently was, he said, it's the people like, oh, the government don't have people killed. He goes, that's a falsehood.
It's true. He's big on that. He says, you guys think that we were gangsters, we killed? You don't think the government kills people every day? You don't think that they don't murder every day? He goes, I promise you they do. They do. The government is the worst mafia of all of us.
It's behind closed doors more than the mob ever was.
He says, you think that the president don't have his own personal hit squad, the CIA, when he goes and tell them to take care of somebody, they don't do it? He said, they're worse than any mobster. The real gangsters are the government. When they didn't like us doing numbers on the street, they lock us up and they put these machines in stores and taxes so they can have it.
Well, you know what?
They make brothels legal so they can legally pimp out girls. It's the government are the crooks. People are so naive in this world. The government are the ones that are corrupt.
Yeah, but you know what, though? What's crazy, I'll tell you something real quick. I had uncles and cousins that were law enforcement, like, right?
Yeah.
And my cousin, who was a cop in Brooklyn for years, he said whenever they locked up the mob guys, he said they went along easily. They never hassled anybody when they got locked up. He goes, you know what he said? They joked around, cracking jokes for you. He said, and they never were jerks to cops.
Michael today is friends with Joe Pistone, real good friends. Johnny Bosco is Joe Pistone. He's real good friends with Giuliani. Giuliani wrote a foreword for Michael's book, and he goes, Michael, I'm so proud of Michael. Giuliani just recently was on Bill Maher, and I love Bill Maher. I think there's another guy I love. That Bill Maher guy.
Oh, yeah.
This guy knows his shit.
Pistone said he thinks there's still people out to get him.
Yeah, well, Paul Castellano did lift the contract, but a lot of guys didn't agree with it. There's a lot of Gambino guys that wanted to kill him. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of Gambino soldiers still out on the street.
Oh, and you know what? Not only them, their sons or grandsons or cousins or whatever, right, have it in for him.
He left the country. Do you know the FBI put him in another country? That's how bad it was.
You know why he got away with it? I mean, why he was so good as Bosco? He grew up around the mob in Newark, right? He spoke a couple of dialects of Italian. You know what I mean? So
he knew that one guy that vouched for him, that one boss that vouched for him, that he was friends with. So, but you know what he said? You know what he said though? 2 years, the first 2 years he couldn't get it. He went to the bar every day to get Lefty's attention. Every day, nothing. Every day he go to the same time because he knew when Lefty was there, when Sonny Black was going to be there. When those guys were hanging in the bar, he was there at the bar. They were at a table. He said for 2 years it went nowhere. They were getting ready to pull the whole thing, and he said that he was in his apartment. He didn't go home. He had to play the role that he couldn't even go back to his house. He stayed. It was hell for his family. He said he sat down there. They were getting ready to pull it. He had 2 years invested, and he wanted to determine. So he sat there real hard, and he said, what I have to do, this is Joe Pistone out of his mouth. He said, what I had to do is at that decision, make a decision, is I'm an FBI agent, so I'm limited. I really can't break the law. I'm not supposed to be on no hits. If it gets to that, I gotta jump in and run. He says, but you know what? It's not gonna work. I gotta become a mobster. And he went in there and he got Lefty loved him and groomed him, and they were getting ready to make him. And he went on there's a lot of things he had to do that I know he was. I don't think they ever had him kill anybody. He didn't get that far, but he definitely helped them cut up bodies. He helped them bury bodies.
People up with them right or wrong.
He did all that. He said that scene where they were cutting up the body. He said it was a horror, gruesome. You got 5 guys laying there and you're cutting them up with regular saws. It's like a butcher shop. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he definitely participated in that.
He definitely did. But he said that was how I got the trust. And no matter if the FBI wanted to fire him, because he was breaking. He said they wanted to catch all the guys, but they didn't want Ben to do nothing to do it.
Now
I made the sacrifice.
That's how he gained that trust, by doing things like
that's
that.
the only way he had to become one of them, and that's a fact. I tell that to people every day. You want to catch, you want to get rid of people that are in your life that are making you miserable. Become them and do it back to them. And I promise you, they'll fucking leave you alone.
And the thing is, what do you call that's who I mean. I know, it wasn't the same, but I do admire Sonny Black that was killed.
Sonny Black. I read a lot about myself. Sonny Black was an interesting guy. He was an interesting guy.
I admire him because he knew he was going to die and they were going to take him down. Am I right or wrong, right?
Listen, there's only two ways out of that life, Mike.
And he wasn't a punk or a bully.
No, he wasn't.
He didn't go run into the FBI to go in the program. He knew his fate, and he went and faced it like a man.
Yeah. Mike, let me ask you a question. Being honest. You're a good soul. You're an Italian. You're Irish. You're Italian. You grew up in New York, where in a city that had the 5 families. You went to school firsthand with mafia guys' kids. You've been in mafia guys' houses playing with your friends as a kid. You've seen the life. You've seen a lot of things that you probably don't want to talk about. But let me ask you the most important question here. Because they were gangsters and you knew that, did you lose any respect for them?
No.
I didn't either. How can you not still respect
them? No, because here's why. Because my friends were born into that, and you have no control of what you're born into.
But you even said when you were with your friends, their fathers treated their kids like gold, and you couldn't tell they were even a gangster. They were nice to the friends.
They treated their. I'll give a good example, right? Quickly, one of my friends that I worked with in the gas station years ago, right? His grandfather was a big time guy, right?
Yeah.
And we were working together. All of a sudden, this guy was like in his 60s then. Older guy, like my age now, but dressed to the nines, like an old Guido hair, slick back, gold chains, right? So he goes to me, "Where's Jimmy?" I go, "Jimmy?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm his grandfather." He was like a top Joe Pesci type.
Really?
He goes, "Tell that clown I want to freaking whack him next time I see him for not following me," right? So I told Jimmy the story, and he goes, "That's my father's family." That's what he said, right? And that's how I knew. But you know what? As long as I was friends with Jimmy, even my other friends that I grew up with, we never, ever talked about the mob at all.
No. They didn't bring that. I mean, these guys, there was guys that were killers, that were enforcers. They were sociopaths. They could go out and do a piece of work. They go do a piece of wet work, go out and take care of their contract, come home like they didn't, nothing happened, and be the best father and husband in the world. They said
Absolutely,
these guys were.
Because, Joe, all my friends whose families were connected, that I was friends with, that I grew up with, never, ever did I mention the mob to them, and I never mentioned that we had no.
And they didn't do that around you because it wasn't appropriate for them to do that. So, yeah, and that's what I figured that you were going to say that you did.
But we never mentioned their family. We never mentioned anything. We just hung out as regular, like normal people did.
And that's why I love you, Mike, because you want to know why? You gave the right answer. Why would you lose respect because of what they did? If they treated you good and treated your friend good and they were good dads, I don't care what any man does for a living. I really don't. I never did. What a man does is his business.
You know what? You can't help what you're born into, Joe, because
that's exactly right.
Here's how I look at life, right? Okay. If you're born with wealth, I don't hate people who are born with wealth, right?
No.
It's your job to keep that wealth going.
That's right. And what I hate is the hatefulness, that people bring on to other people.
Joe, just like if you're born into poverty, it's your job to get out of poverty.
But there's more people born into poverty than there's more people born into rich people. There's more poverty than there's rich.
No, but I'm saying, as a person, if you're born into poverty, you try your best to get out of it.
But that's right. You try your best. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. You don't treat people for no reason like a piece of shit. You just don't do that. You just don't do that.
I'll put it this way, right? You're going to get a kick out of this, right? My friend Jimmy, I was just telling you about, right?
Yeah.
I went to his engagement party in the 80s, right? His aunt. Oh, you okay?
Hang on one second, Mike. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mike. Damn, you did all that. I didn't even hear you guys doing that. You all right? Okay, I love you. Be safe. Sorry, Mike.
No worries. Because Joe, I went to his engagement party, right? I was in my early 20s, the early 80s. I'm a young Guido with a nice suit, pushback hair, right?
I bet you look good in a suit too.
Thank you. Okay, so we get to the party, right? It's like this private place, right? His aunt is at the door, right? His aunt was a female Joe Pesci type,
Oh,
right? I get to the door, right? She looks me over. She goes, "So who you with?" I go, "Excuse me."
he wanted to know who you were with. He wanted to really know who you were with.
Now she goes, "Who are you with?" I go, "Excuse me." She goes, "What don't you understand?" That's like Pesci was talking to me. She goes, "What?" And she was blatant about it. She goes, "Which faction of the family you with?"
Woo! She was brought to the point.
Right? And I go, "Excuse me." He goes, "No, whose crew are you with?" Right? So Joe, I was such an idiot when I was young. You know what I was
Well,
going to
we all
do?
are.
Well, this is what I was going to do. I was going to pull some mafia guy's name out of the newspaper
Oh my
that I
God!
read and say I'm with him. Listen to this show and say I'm with him. But you know what could have happened? If I picked the wrong guy they hated,
Oh
I would have been
yeah,
cemented.
you
Am
would
I
have been
right or
smacked
wrong?
around for sure. Oh,
Or
that's a
listen to
funny
this.
story. That's too
Or
funny.
Joe, what about if I picked someone they totally fearful of? She would have
Oh
kissed
my
my
God,
ass, right? But
that's
here's what
funny.
happened, right? My
That's funny.
friend, who was their cousin,
Yeah,
there was also families, in the life,
right.
come over to me, put me in a bear hug. You know what he said to her? He's a civilian. He's a great friend of us. He's safe.
That's good. See, that's a good friend. That's the way
And,
it's got to
and
be.
know what she did? She apologized to me after that.
That's so good. That's nice of her. I'm glad she did that
But
too.
how crazy is that? She's like,
That's it is, Mike. Because you know what, I can understand it. You're there. You know your friend and family, and but you know that you got a good friend, and you know that nothing's going to happen. You're safe. You feel safe. But that you answer something the wrong way, it could go ugly really quick.
but how
You
crazy
know.
is that? She was asking me that at the front door. But you know why?
Yeah.
Because, first of all, they probably put her there at the front door for that reason.
I got a friend in Chicago. I ain't seen in a long time, but he's a big time pimp, and he was raised. He's white as the purest snow, and he talks more black than any black I've ever seen.
Oh,
I mean, because he was raised by black people. He was adopted. He was an orphan kid, and he was a pretty wild kid. He grew up in my neighborhood. He became this big time pimp, and he got the nickname called White Folk. That's his nickname,
well,
White Folk. And he would drive up and down LaSalle Street and Michigan Avenue, and he was one of the pimps that he had Highline girls that were expensive, and then he had the cheap Armitage girls that would walk. The girls that you better not probably get them. You're gonna get a disease from them, and they were the ugliest ones. But he had the high scale ones on Michigan, and he drove this big old white Rolls Royce. My brother couldn't stand him. Now my brother's working at the Crazy Horse, and Crazy Horse on paper belonged to some little old guy, but it was really owned by the Gambinos and of New York, and it was owned by and then the Chicago outfit had the other half, Tony Accardo. But they couldn't be on paper. They had a stooge that was on paper. So you had New York guys working on the one half of the club, and Chicago. Now New York and Chicago guys, they clashed a lot. There was a lot of tension there, and
well,
my brother was a hothead. Well, Gotti had put a point man in there, his guy, and my brother was there with Joey Lombardo's brother, Rocky Lombardo. So white folk come in with him, and two other black pimps, right? And my brother couldn't stand them because he knows what he's there for. They're there trying to recruit some of them girls to come over with them to be fucking hookers. You know what I'm
oh,
saying?
definitely.
That's what they're there for. So my brother went right to him and said, "I catch you guys trying to pick up these girls tonight, I'm gonna bust your fucking head open." So my brother calls me. He's, "I need a favor. Where you at?" I said, "I'm home. I need you to come over to the club." I go, "For what? I don't feel like it tonight." He goes, "I need you to come over. That fucking idiot motherfucker's here." My brother didn't like black people, so he used the N-word. He goes,
Well,
he goes, "Those are your type of people." My brother said it to me. And I go, "Well, what the fuck does that mean?" He goes, You're the drug addict. I'm not. They're fucking sitting here pimping and fucking, come and do me this favor." So I go, and he goes, I go, "What's he wearing?" He goes, "He's wearing a fucking a canary fucking yellow fucking pimp suit. That's what he's
oh
wearing."
god.
And with a fucking hat with a feather out of it. And he goes, and the other guy, the black guy's wearing a fucking baby blue fucking shiny fucking satin suit with a fucking. So I go in there and I go in there and I walk through the door. And so I went and I wore a white suit with purple pinstripes with a white fedora, purple gator shoes, purple gator belt, purple socks, and a purple shirt,
Oh god.
and a purple tie with a white jacket with black stripe. And I wore the fedora and I went over to the table, would sit with him. My brother fucking almost fucking died when I walked through the door. I asked him why he wear it. I like these guys. They were my kind of people. So I went out and I got my pimp suit that I had in the closet. And I go over there and he goes, my man's here. So I had some good cocaine in my pocket. And my brother fucking hated drugs. My brother wanted to kill me one fucking night.
Wow.
My brother used to worship me and idolize me, and I used to always fight his battles for him. When he found out I do drugs, my brother never felt the same about me ever again. It's the one relationship I regret. My brother, he goes, I looked up to you. You were working in baseball. You were a father, a good. He goes, you became an addict and you disciplined. My brother never drank, never did drugs, nothing. Never had kids, nothing. And I love my brother dead. And 8 months ago, my brother popped up in one of my chat rooms, and he was using his real name. And I thought it was a troll. They found out my brother's name, and they were trying to play it as my brother. So he goes, "It's me." Well, you're sure it's you? I don't believe it. So I go, say something that only me and you would know. And it was my brother. I was shocked. Wow. And I go, he goes, I watch you every night. And I go, what? He goes, I've been watching every night since you started podcasting. He goes, why do you fight with all those fucking idiots on the internet for? He goes, why do you let them get to you? You're better than that. I go, what did you say? This is coming from my brother. So I just want to bring that up. But I go back to the club. So I'm there with the white folk guy, and I go, and he goes, you got any blow? I said, I got the best as always. So he goes, what do you got? I go, I got a couple. I brought it because I knew he was going to buy it. So that's what I was doing. I sold cocaine, so I didn't give. My brother brings me into this club. What does he think I'm going to do? So my brother comes up and goes, don't fuck up in this club, he says. Don't get me fucking in trouble. I said, wait a minute. There's no double standard. You called me in to do you a favor, and now you want to put the fucking kibosh on me? It ain't happening. I'm your older brother. Deal with what I'm going to do tonight. I don't give a fuck. Oh, plain and simple. So I go in the bathroom and turn them on. And the little black guy in the bathroom, the little attendant that gives you the towel and the cologne and when you're in there washing your hands, they're one of those attendants. They work for tips. He goes and brings me out to my brother that I'm doing cocaine in the bathroom.
Whoa.
With the fucking pimp. My brother fucking almost fucking hemmed me up to the fucking ceiling. And that was it. I said, don't ever ask me to do fucking shit again for you. This is how you want me to get rid of calm these guys down so they don't fucking. This is what they do. This is what I do. I'm an entertainer. I know what these guys do. You wanted me to keep them away from the fucking girls? I'm doing that. So I had to bring cocaine to do that. If you cannot call somebody to do something for you and not expect it to do it their way.
I know.
And that was it. I was done with it. I hate that shit, man. And then they left peacefully. They didn't fucking talk to none of the girls. Mission accomplished. So I go to my brother. He goes, I hope you don't expect me to pay you. I go, did I ask you for anything? Hey, you're my brother. I did it for you. I go, but you can't give me a couple of those fucking cigars you got over there. He had Cubans. He goes, I ain't fucking giving you none of the Cubans. He goes, hit the fucking door.
Joe, this was a great night.
Yeah, great night. Great night. I enjoyed it.
Can we thank our people, these people for
thank everybody, Mike. You can talk to them. I'm not talking to half of them anymore.
Oh,
you can be happy to say whatever you want.
I love talking to you because it's so much fun. Everybody, thanks.
Mike, we get along so good, and our stories go into good stories, and we're gonna keep this up. Next week we'll continue with 2 or 3 more guys. We got a long list of guys. Mike and I's whole point here. Let me see if we got any super tips. I don't think nobody sent any super tips, and I'll make sure we got any super tips. And we could. This is one I played. I have an announcement to make. I declared war on certain people today in the Dabbleverse. So here is my official statement of my war. Rocco, Cardiff, El Horrible, listen up. I'm coming for you like it's World War podcast. Cardiff, you potato. Oh, I'm having fried potatoes for lunch today. And guess who's on the menu? That's right. Cardiff Electric, extra crispy.
Whoa, Joey. Relax, buddy. I'm just a potato with a microphone. You can't fry me. I'm already baked. Gentlemen. Please, keep the chaos organized. This is supposed to be a professional podcast war.
Professional?
That's funny. I'm so sorry for laughing.
No, it's funny. I'm glad
I'm bringing the Catalano nuclear option.
We'll make Cardiff into a potato salad.
Memes. Super chats.
Joe, let's
and chaos.
People. It was so fun. I can't wait to
Cardiff.
next week.
El Horrible.
This is great.
Rocco, you boys better bunker down.
But
because Catalano TV just declared
it's going to get better.
World War podcast.
Super chats and tips. And
Yeah,
Thank you,
Mike.
Mr. Brennan.
Mr. Brennan, I thanked Kevin again last night, and he said he would be. He watches us, so Kevin, I know you're out there watching us. We thank you again.
Joe?
Me and Mike, we got the chemistry. That's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah,
Mike and I got the
definitely,
chemistry
because
to make this
Joe,
really
but
work.
have a great night. I will definitely
Mike,
talk
I
to
love you, brother,
during
and
the week. You too. Love you, Joe.
I'm glad you got the mail. You sent that back to me. You got it.
I got it. I'm
Well,
signing it tomorrow.
see, we get paid in 6 days, Mike. We finally get paid. So whatever we got coming,
I'm signing it tomorrow, Joe.
you want me to send it when the pay comes in on the 21st?
Okay,
It's either going to be the 21st or 23rd. Venmo or you have PayPal?
I have Venmo.
Okay, I'll make sure I get it. We'll go over the books in a couple days. I'll call you. We'll go over the books.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
And then we'll get what you'll get what you got coming, Mike.
It's going to be fun. Thank you,
and
Joe.
I thank you again for just being here, Mike. And
of course. Have a great night, Joe.
Thank you, buddy. Everybody, Mike Machete, the great Mike Machete.
Take care, guys.
Take care, everybody. All right, let me make sure. I don't think we got any more super chats. I think we're good there. Mike's a great guy, and I tell you what, we got great chemistry. And I am declaring. Thank you, buddy. And I'm telling you right now, I declare that war. It's done. And I'm going after the pineapple and Rochi too. It's over.
I want to go after the corn.
Yeah, we're going after the corn. The corn's he's been mobilized for a long time, the corn. But we're going to get that pineapple, dude. Let me just double check.
Joe, let me go.
Mike.
Take care, buddy.
We got no more super chat. But we're good. All right, everybody. We hope you enjoyed tonight. Like I said, this is going to turn into a good show because Mike and we get along very good, and we know what we're talking about, and we're going to make it fun. And like I said, you're either with me in this war or you're not. But everybody, God bless you, and we'll talk to you. I don't know if I'm going on OG Mumble and Dix. I was supposed to do a political show tonight with him, but I haven't heard from him. I probably could still go on and do a little bit. I'm a little bit tired today, but I was going to go on for the third time. We were going to talk about the ice and one of my things that I want to do when I'm elected. But everybody, good night. Take care. My name is Joseph Samuel Catalano III, and I'm running for president of the United States. Vote Catalano Sardina, 2028. Good night, son.